Yeah, soldiers, it's your boy, the Anime Sage, coming to you with another video, and this is Legacy Chapters 41 through 43. Once again, we are reading this fanfic, and this will be the last video before the Part 2 movie, and then we'll move on to Legacy Season 3, which will have the conclusion up to Chapter 69, of course. So, that should be fun. But before we get into this, first off, I want to pass you guys off on a question. So think of it as a question of the day. What has been your favorite arc of Legacy Season 2? So if Legacy Season 1 was chapters 1 through 22, and this season would be technically Legacy chapters 23 through 43, what has been your favorite arc so far? And I would give a bit of time to watch this video first and see if you actually like this arc with chapters 41 and 43 more than the other arcs previous. But if you have a favorite arc, let me know in the comments below. Also watch my community tab like a hawk, and finally follow my social medias. You guys know what they are at this point. And without further ado, we can get right into this video. So let's get into chapter 41, the Akatsuki strikes. Here we go. Chapter 41, the Akatsuki strikes. Konoha gates. It was a serene day for the eternal guards of Konoha's gates. There was a small breeze in the air, and the sun was shining high in the sky. Poor Izumo and Kotetsu were on their regular job. Kotetsu was sleeping like always, while Izumo was tilting back in his chair, looking up at the clear sky. Kukukukukuku. Izumo heard and shifted his eyes from the sky and to the gates, only to come face to face with the snake Sonic himself. Oh my. Look at what we have here. Kukukuku. Orochimaru said, chuckling darkly and licking his lips with his freakish long tongue. Orochimaru? Izumo started and proceeded to faint, smacking his head on the wooden desk. A small crack appeared as his forehead made contact with the wooden desk. Too easy, Orochimaru said, poofing into smoke to reveal Naruto and his battle armor. That wasn't even funny, Naruto pouted, while Red Kushina grinned at him and Hinata just shook her head. Alright team, Naruto called out, gathering the attention of the dragons. Go home while I report with Hinata-chan. I have a few things to talk about with Ba-chan, Naruto said, and everyone blurred out of his sight. It was a testament to their power, as it only took a split second before every dragon was out of Naruto's field of vision. Then again, what would you expect from an S-rank shinobi? Let's go, Hinata-chan, Naruto said, and both of them jumped high in the sky, taking the rooftops towards the Hokage Tower. Hokage Tower. Yo, Ba-chan, Naruto said, making a hello gesture with his right arm as he entered Tsunai's office. As Naruto entered the office, it came into view just how much paperwork there was. Three Tsunais working hard on the paperwork, while what Naruto guessed was the original, laid back in her chair with a cup of tea. Working hard, I see, Naruto said, amused with the glare he was receiving from the clones. He gave a small chuckle when he heard the clones murmur something about a rebellion against their tyrannical leader. A woman has to do what a woman has to do, I guess, Tsunai happily said, taking a sip of her drink. Shut up and get back to work, Tsunai yelled when she noticed the clones glaring at her. They flinched and got back to work, growling at their maker. So, welcome back, Tsunai said, welcoming Naruto and Hinata. They had been gone a couple of weeks. She was pleased as to how things were going. She had been hearing good news from the mist. It's good to be back. Mist is too moist for my taste, Naruto said, sighing in relief. And that mist is everywhere, and I mean everywhere, Naruto said, while Tsunai's sweat dropped at his behavior. I didn't mind that kind of weather, Hinata replied, bringing a finger to her chin. Of course you didn't, Naruto replied, shaking his head. And there you can pull water from the air as you please, Naruto explained, and Hinata happily nodded. Enough of these pleasantries. Report, Tsunai ordered, and Naruto snapped from his child's play act and into his formal stance. The mission was a complete success. I'm pleased to say that the rebel side won the war, and with only 5% casualties since our arrival. Yagura, the Ondaime Mizukage Jinchuriki of the Sanbi, was defeated, and his tail beast was set free, Naruto explained, and Tsunade raised an eyebrow. Yes, the price they paid for our help was a promise to never seal the Sanbi into anyone, Naruto said, and got a small smile on his lips when he heard Kurama chuckle in his head. And they went along with that? Tsunade asked, dubious that they would agree with such terms. Kind of. I made a deal with Isabu that if he guarded their village as a guardian instead of a prisoner, then he would be set free, Naruto said, but Tsunade still wasn't convinced. It seemed that there was a chunk missing in his story. And the fact that Naruto couldn't promise pain to anyone that heard the zombie also helped him not supply again the glare from Naruto. Tsunade didn't need to know that Naruto was already threatening their allies. I should have known, Tsunade said, shaking her head. She should have known that side of Naruto to make sure that the Bichu were treated fairly like any other living being. Here, Naruto said, and threw a scroll towards Tsunade, who easily caught it. What's this? Tsunade asked as she unwrapped the scroll, but Naruto shrugged his shoulders. The scroll was addressed specifically towards Tsunade, and Naruto didn't have the right to open it instead of her. This... Tsunade started with her eyes wide, looking at the contents of the scroll. What's wrong? Naruto asked, curious as to what would get such a reaction from Tsunade. It was like someone had just offered to pay up all of Tsunade's debts while giving her sake. The Mist is wanting to forge their special blades for us to use as a token of their appreciation for our help and to cement the alliance, Tsunade said, gobsmacked. The Mist was willing to forge their special blades for Konoha to use. The Mist had the best swords and all of them were special, either being Zabuza's Kubikiri Bocho or Kisame Samehara. Really? Naruto asked surprised, and Tsunade slowly nodded. She chuckled and placed down the scroll. The future was looking good, and she could have sworn she heard a squeal from Nico Yugao up in the ceiling. But enough of this. Any casualties? Tsunade asked, roaming through the paperwork. Yeah, about that, Naruto said, chuckling and scratching the back of his head. What happened? Tsunade said in a dangerous voice with her eyes blazing with fire. Even the clones stopped working and joined in on the glare. I swear it was Green's Hashirama's idea, Naruto quickly said, backing up and pointing his hands up as a shield. Back in the mist, Toyoran picked up Mei by her waist and lifted her up, pushing her against the wall. She wrapped her legs around his waist. Mei started running her hands through his hair as Toyorama hungrily kissed her neck. Mei tilted her head back in pleasure, allowing Toyoran better access to her soft skin. Toyoran walked forward and pushed her against her desk, knocking everything to the ground. So good, Mei moaned as Toyorama's hands started roaming through her body and massaging her thighs, upper flat stomach, filling her big and firm breasts. Feeling good, Mizuhime? Water Princess Toyoran asked closely to her ear. Mei got serious when she felt his warm breath down her ear and neck. I've got to thank that brat, Toyoran thought to himself, continuing his work. And then, as an offer's note, he says, and I leave the rest to your imaginations. Alright, back to the story. Back in Konoha. So you hooked up Blue Toyorama with Mei, Tsunade asked, and Naruto slowly nodded from behind Hinata, much to her amusement. Nice work, brat, Tsunade said, and Naruto was surprised by that, but nonetheless sighed in relief. Naruto thought he would be on the receiving end of one of her punches when he and Hashirama decided to play matchmaker. Mei is a strong and independent woman. She will do him good, Tsunade said, and Naruto nodded. The only thing in real danger was Toyorama's balls, but Naruto could heal him should anything happen. And if things go well, we might have a way to first cement our alliance, Tsunade said, and Naruto nodded, knowing that it was very true. Can you send your Anbu out of the room, Naruto rhetorically asked. I need to talk to you. In private, Naruto said, and Tsunade quickly caught up with the serious voice and did just that. And with a small wave of the hand, the Anbu left the room. Naruto quickly placed a silence shield so that nothing got out. So, what is it that you want? Tsunade asked cautiously and with a serious face. I need permission to talk with Sasuke, Naruto said, and Tsunade started sweating. Yeah, about that, Tsunade said, chuckling nervously. He kind of escaped the prison, Tsunade said, while her clones chuckled evilly at their owner's misfortune. How the fuck did he do that? Naruto blurted out. Language, Naruto-kun, Hinata said, scolding Naruto. I mean, I destroyed his chakra network. Not even you could have healed that kind of damage, so how the hell did he manage to escape, Naruto asked, and Tsunade sighed before explaining everything and showing him the surveillance tape that showed Tobi knocking the Anbu out and warping away with Sasuke. Gah! Naruto shouted in frustration, releasing enough chakra to crack the ground. That damn Uchiha is everywhere. Just what the hell does he want? Naruto yelled. First he released the Kyuubi and Konoha, killing my mother and father in the process. Then he goes to the mist and starts a bloodline war. He what? Tsunade shouted, rising from her chair, but Naruto kept rambling on and promising a painful death to Tobi. Tobi was behind the scenes controlling Yagura. He was the one that began the bloodline purge, although we don't know to what end, Hinata explained towards her sensei, who fell back to her chair. Who the hell is this Uchiha? How can someone so powerful stay hidden from everyone? Especially the Konoha that was the Uchiha's birthplace. Tsunade Bachan, Naruto said, breaking Tsunade's train of thought. I want access to Konoha's archives about the Uchiha clan and permission to exhume Uchiha now, Naruto said, and Tsunade raised an eyebrow. Why do you want that? Tsunade asked, and Naruto motioned Hinata to explain. I fought against Uchiha back in the mist. She was a few years older than me, and she had an eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, Hinata explained, and Tsunade's jaw dropped. Just what the hell was going on here? Uchihas were popping out everywhere. It's like they were copying each other. And if you look at the offers note here, you would see, the irony. Anyways, are you sure? Tsunade asked, and Hinata nodded. I want to confirm that she existed and to see if there is a body to begin with, Naruto explained, and Tsunade nodded, nursing her temples. She was having such a good day until Naruto arrived. Fine, Tsunade agreed, stamping a paper and giving it to Naruto so he had access to the archives. I'll set up the exhumation and perform the autopsy on the body, if there is one, Tsunade said. Alright, Naruto cheered back to his old personality. To Ichiraku's ramen stand, Naruto yelled, pumping his fist into the air and walking out the room with Hinata shaking her head at his behavior. Not so fast, Tsunade called out from behind her desk and stopping Naruto in his tracks. Now that you are back from your mission, I already have something planned for all of the dragons while you are on vacation, so to speak, Tsunade stated, and Naruto stared at her. It seems that Tobirama will be busy in Kiri, so that leaves the dragons one man down. Since our Anbu commander decided to get himself killed, I need Hashirama and Mito on Anbu duty, Tsunade explained, roaming through the maze of papers before turning to Hinata. Hinata-chan, I need you at the hospital. We are short on personnel, and you could really help us out, Tsunade said, and Hinata nodded. As for you, Naruto-chan, I have a very good assignment, Tsunade said, chuckling, and Naruto raised an eyebrow at her tone. I want you to participate in a small lecture at the academy for the students, Tsunade said, and Naruto stared at her. You want me to what? Naruto asked, confused, as he didn't know exactly what to do. You want me to teach the brats or something? Naruto asked, tilting his head to the side. Nothing like that. Konohamaru, you, and Kakashi will be participating in a small lecture for the students to tell them what the shinobi life is like from Genin to Chunin and finally Jonin, Tsunade explained, and Naruto slowly nodded. Why me though? Naruto asked, confused. There are plenty of Chunin around, Naruto stated. True, but you are the clan head of the Senju clan. Being a clan head does bring some obligations. Konohamaru is the first grandson and most likely one of the most promising and well-known genin. The same could be said for you in the Chunin area, and Kakashi is one of our best jonin, Tsunade explained, and Naruto nodded. Might be fun, Naruto said, grinning. So, when is this lecture I have to give? Naruto asked. I'll set up and tell you later, Tsunade said, and Naruto and Hinata left the room. Shizune! Tsunade yelled from her desk. Moments later, Shizune walked inside. Prep an autopsy room. I want this done quietly. Understood? Tsunade asked, and Shizune nodded. What are you looking at? Tsunade growled her clones. Back to work, she ordered, and the clones mumbled something before going back to their daily work. Tsunade sighed, tilting back in her chair. The wonderful life of a Kage, Tsunade said, taking a sip of her tea. Ichiraku's ramen stand. Naruto and Hinata arrive in a swirl as Naruto uses Kamui to quickly arrive at his favorite stand. And he was surprised to see Red, Kushina, gobbling up bowls of ramen. She was eating bowl after bowl, and didn't even invite Naruto. Dear Lord, Ichiraku said as he sped for the kitchen to keep up with the demand. It's like the Red Death is here once again, Ichiraku said, and Naruto chuckled inwardly. Old man, Naruto called out as he sat down with Hinata. You better speed up as I'm hungry, Naruto said, and Ichiraku paled. Ayame! Get in here! Ichiraku shouted to his daughter as he needed more hands on deck. Ayame ran to the kitchen and barely was able to greet Naruto before Ichiraku shoved a bowl in her face. How about a contest to see who eats more, Naruto asked Red, who grinned behind her mask. Ichiraku paled when he heard that. It was a shame he didn't know any clone technique. Ready? Red said as both of them picked up their chopsticks. Hinata and Yellow Minato could only shake their heads at their face-off. Set? Red said as a bowl of ramen was placed down in front of her. Go! Red said, and in a flash the bowl was empty. Ichiraku was running from place to place, and he was sweating. 10 bowls down, Naruto shouted as he managed to get a small lead ahead of Kushina. 10. Another, Kushina shouted at Ichiraku, who flinched and quickly placed another bowl down. 1 hour later. Victory! Naruto shouted as he placed the final bowl down and looked towards Kushina, who was passed out on her stool. I think, Naruto said as he brought his hand to his stomach. I'm gonna be sick, Naruto said, and ran towards a nearby bush and emptied his stomach. Ah! Kushina said from the stool as she regained her bearings. I win. You couldn't hold your liquor, Kushina said, panting before running towards the same bush. Unbelievable, Kurama muttered inside his host's mind. Even the fox was starting to feel nauseated. That's disgusting, Hinata said, and Minato just chuckled. Hinata and Minato ate a few bowls each and stopped once they were full, but Naruto seemed to have other plans. Both he and Kushina managed to eat an impressive 50 bowls each before they both threw up. I feel awful, Naruto said as he stumbled away towards his girlfriend. See you tomorrow, old man, Naruto said towards Ichiraku, who was on the ground huffing from the workout. Naruto took 2 steps before slamming face first on the ground with Kushina on top. You take her, I take him, Hinata said towards Minato, who nodded and picked up Kushina from the ground. Naruto, Hinata called out towards his boyfriend as he leaned on her arms for support. I have a favor to ask you, Hinata said, and Naruto raised an eyebrow at her request. Anything for you, Hinata, Naruto said, channeling a bit of Kurama's chakra to speed up the healing and bring him out of his sickness. I want to learn Senjutsu, Hinata said, and Naruto stopped walking and turned towards her. Okay, but why? Naruto asked, confused. Besides the fact it would be a huge power boost to me, I also want to explore the medical applications of it. I heard Hashirama can do wonders with it, and I wanted to try it as well, Hinata explained, and Naruto chuckled before nodding. Of course, since we have a few days, I'll teach you how to gather and control it, Naruto said, and Hinata pecked his cheek. Now, how about I show you how thankful I am, Hinata whispered into Naruto's ear, nibbling on his earlobe. He didn't have to be told twice before flashing away, leaving Minato with a fainting Kushina in his arms. How come I didn't think of that, Minato asked to no one as he also flashed home. Takigaku, next day. Takigaku was having a peaceful day as any other. Taki was a small shinobi village that didn't even come close to one of the Great Five. Their army rounded up to only 1,000 shinobi, and many wondered why they had a Biju to begin with. It's been a while, a man clad with a black cloak with red clouds said as he and another man stopped walking. I haven't been here in many years, Kakuzu said as he overlooked what was once his home village. Oi, 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 the other man screamed to his partner. He wore the same black cloak with red clouds. He had silver hair that was slicked back and purple eyes. On his back, he carried a triple-bladed scythe. Don't you go all mushy on me, Hidan screamed. Shut up, Hidan, or do you want us to get caught? Kakuzu reasoned as they walked through the village disguised by a small genjutsu. If it were up to me, I would kill everybody so I could bathe in the glory of Jashin-sama. All hail Jashin, Hidan screamed, drawing the attention of nearby people. Shut up, Hidan, or I'll kill you, Kakasu stated. As if you could, Hidan replied, making Kakasu groan in annoyance. They seemed to be walking calmly, but both of them kept their ears sharp for any chatter regarding Fu, the Jinchuriki they were hunting. Thank you, Fu said to the store owner as she ran towards her house with a small bag. Green hair, orange eyes. It's her, Hidan, the Jinchuriki of the Nanabi, Kakasu said as both of them watched their target leave, running towards the edge of the village. After all, the village was rather small when compared to the other great nations. If I remember correctly, she's heading to the edge of the village, Kakasu murmured to himself. Why don't you go play with the village while I take our target, Kakasu said to his teammate. Finally! Watch this, Jashin-sama. It'll be a show that you will never forget, Hidan said. He dispelled the genjutsu and picked up his scythe before he went running for the village, swinging his scythe wildly. And people say I'm insane for collecting hearts, Kakasu said, as he watched Hidan behead a civilian. At least he'll keep the village out of my way while I finish things with Fu, Kakasu said to himself before blurring after Fu. Waterfall Tower. Shibuki-sama, one shinobi yelled as he rushed towards the waterfall tower in the middle of the village. What's the problem? Shibuki quickly replied, saying up from his chair. We are being attacked by a Nukenin, the shinobi explained, taking deep breaths. Nukenin as in single, Shibuki asked, and the shinobi only nodded. Gather civilians and evacuate them to the tunnels beneath the lake. Summon the waterfall unit and have them stall the enemy until the evacuation is complete, Shibuki ordered, and the shinobi nodded, poofing into smoke. Takigaku main clearing. Mwahahaha! Hidan laughed as he slashed at another poor soul. All hail Jashin! Hidan shouted as he bathed in the blood of his enemies. Mizu Tatsumaki! Water tornado, Shibuki said, blurring through hand seals. A tornado of water rushed head-on and crashed into Hidan, who was sent flying into a nearby tree. Who the fuck did that? Hidan screamed as he got up to see someone with ink-black eyes and long, dark brown hair. Black cloak with red clouds. Akatsuki, Shibuki thought in worry. If this shinobi was really from the Akatsuki, then there was no one in the village strong enough to take him down. Send word to the Leaf that we are under attack and dispatch a team to Fu's location, Shibuki ordered. We can only hope to hold on until help arrives, Shibuki thought to himself, as he made another set of hand seals. Takigaku Mizukiri no Yaiba. Waterfall style, water cutting sword, Shibuki said, as water materialized itself on the palm of his hand and suddenly solidified. Shibuki rushed head-on against the trespasser. Looking at the horizon, he could see smoke from an explosion. Don't you dare lose Fu, Shibuki thought as he clashed with Hidan's scythe. Each clash of sword against scythe drew sparks from the power behind each swing. Shibuki ducked under a horizontal swing. Shibuki kicked Hidan's foot, making him lose his balance and tackled him away to get some distance. Hidan got up and rushed Shibuki. Hidan ducked under a kunai thrown by another shinobi. Hidan jumped in the air and brought his scythe down only for Shibuki to sidestep it and thrust his blade forward. Hidan tilted his body to his side and allowed the blade to pass by him safely. Hidan tilted his head back and headbutted Shibuki, who groaned in pain and fell backwards. Suiton, Suryuda no Jutsu, Water Dragon, Shibuki called out, and a water dragon rose from the jutsu with shining yellow eyes. The dragon roared and went for Hidan, who placed his scythe in front of him, blocking most of the damage, but nonetheless he was blasted backwards. Die! Shibuki yelled as he appeared next to a dazed Hidan and flexed his blade forward. The blade went through Hidan's back, right through his heart. Awesome, a shinobi cheered. Shibuki-sama is strong, another stated. Fuck! Hidan said as he spat some blood onto the ground. That hurt, Hidan said, looking directly at the widened eyes of Shibuki and everyone else. Oi, oi, stop moving, will you, Hidan said, and Shibuki quickly withdrew his blade and went to behead Hidan, only to have his arm caught. Hidan caught his arm and kicked him away. What monster is he? Shibuki asked as he spat blood to the ground and got up in a defensive stance. Fetch the Fiyu no Misu, Hero's Water, Shibuki ordered, and the shinobi paled but went to get it. Apparently the enemy was stronger than it seemed. Fu versus Kakuzu. Boom! The tree was completely destroyed when a massive fireball collided with it. Fu jumped out and landed safely on the ground. She turned and came face to face with her aggressor. So, you came for me after all, Fu said as her heart started racing and adrenaline fled her veins. Why don't you come with us, girl? You and I both know you stand no chance, Kakuzu stoically said. I have a few aces up my sleeves, Fu said as she blurred through hand seals. Suiton Tepodama! Water bullet, Fu said, and sent multiple water bullets against Kakuzu who remained in place. Doton Suchi no Yoroi. Rock armor, Kakuzu fought as the skin became pitch black from being hardened with earth chakra. The water bullets hit Kakuzu, but he wasn't even phased. Kakuzu didn't even buckle as he felt nothing more than drops of water, as if it was rain. Tisk! Fu fought as she fought what she could do against such a foe. She didn't want to call and depend on Naruto to help her. If she called him, she would be placing him in harm's way as well, and she didn't want to risk it unless she absolutely needed to. Kakuzu dashed forward and engaged Fu in a taijutsu brawl. Fu quickly realized she didn't stand a chance as she was easily overpowered in both speed and strength. Fu's hits couldn't scratch Kakuzu's hardened skin, and his punches felt like stone. Doton, Domu, Earth Spear, Kakuzu said as his right fist hardened even more and slammed into Fu's face. Fu dispersed in a puddle of water. Water clone, Kakuzu fought as several water whips burst from the ground and wrapped around his feet. Suiton, Soryudan no Jutsu, Water Dragon, Fu shouted as a massive dragon rose from the ground, headed towards the immobile Kakuzu who stood his ground. The dragon washed into him with high pressure. Once the dragon attack was over, Kakuzu stood there being only drenched head to toe. You're going to have to do better, Kakuzu said as he broke the water restraints and jumped back to gain some distance. My turn, Kakuzu said, flashing for hand seals. Gatan, Zogaku no Jutsu, Cranium Carver, Kakuzu said, and a small but powerful fireball was sent towards Fu at high speeds. Fu poofed into smoke, revealing a small wooden log as the fireball crashed into the ground, exploding into a fire dome, scorching the ground and lighting up the trees in flames. Fu watched Sally as her house was consumed by the flames. Fu turned her attention towards her village and noticed that there were also fires there. She figured that the village was being kept busy while Kakuzu dealt with her. That, or the village couldn't be bothered to send help. After all, who would want to help out a demon? Fu was brought out of her thoughts when she saw Kakuzu rushing towards her. Let me help, Chome said through their mental link. Chome? Fu said, surprised to hear her. If they capture you, it'll be the end for both of us, Chome reasoned, but Fu was adamant. I can't control your chakra in the version 2 cloak, and I think that version won't do much against them, Fu replied to her Bijou as she held off Kakuzu as best as she could. Power isn't always the best solution, Chome critically said, bringing a small smile to Fu's face. You have other gifts other than my chakra, Chome said, and Fu nodded, ducking under a punch and jumping backwards to safety. Haijutsu, Muchios, insect summoning jutsu, Fu said, as she placed her hands on the ground and started releasing chakra into it. Insects from all kinds started gathering near Fu. Kakuzu wanted none of that and rushed forward. Kakuzu thought that Fu was weak and that it wasn't necessary to employ any ninjutsu for now. Bosui no Jin, Spindle Formation, Fu said, and a wave of bugs rushed Kakuzu in a spiral formation, stopping any advancement he tried. Kakuzu was being overwhelmed by the amount of bugs. Kakuzu decided to stop playing with his prey and his skin burst open. From inside his body came out a glob of black something with a red mask. The red mask flew high into the sky and fired a fireball towards the original Kakuzu. Kakuzu was set into flames, as well as the bugs were incinerated, as well as part of his cloak. A small price to pay to get rid of those annoyances. Fu ducked under the whip of the black something, and then she looked carefully at Kakuzu and noticed that he was releasing black threads from his skin. You're Kakuzu, a nukenim from this village, Fu said, shocked. This person defected long ago, but apparently he was still running around. Indeed, Kaksu said as he released a mouthful of black threads from his mouth. His body started convulsing as 3 other black globes shot from inside of it. Kaksu was now saying with 4 masks around him. 1 red mask, 1 light blue, 1 dark blue, and the last was a yellow mask. Both red and light blue masks came together and fused. Both masks opened their mouths as chakra started gathering in each. Katan, Zogaku no Jutsu, Cranium Carver. Futon, Atsugai, Pressurized Wind Bomb. Both masks released their attacks. The fire stream combined with the wind attack powering up, a wave of fire was released, scorching the ground as it made its way towards Fu, who had her eyes widened at the magnitude of the attack. Fu channeled a bit of her Biju's chakra and focused it on her back. Suddenly 2 wings popped out and started flapping wildly. Fu quickly rose into the sky as high as she could to try and escape the inferno that her enemy had unleashed. Though she avoided the fire attack, she didn't get too far as the light blue mask came up behind her. Futon, Atsugai, Pressurized Wind Bomb, Kaksu said as the light blue mask released a pressurized wind bomb that collided head-on with Fu. Fu crashed hard onto the ground and had trouble getting up from taking such a direct blow. Fu winced as Shomi's chakra got to work on healing her wounds as she got back up. Hiden, Renpon Gaku no Jutsu, Secret, Hiding and Skill Power Technique, Fu said as she exhaled a white power temporarily blinding Kakuzu. Fu got up and jumped back as far as she could to regain her breath. Man, I never had such fun, Hidan said as he approached Kakuzu. Hidan was carrying someone on his back. There was a body dangling from his scythe. Oh, back already? Kakuzu asked as he noticed how bloody Hidan was. It looks like you didn't lose your head this time, Kakuzu said. Shut up, you bastard! Hidan screamed, and Fu's eyes widened when she saw Shibuki's form with a scythe through his chest. Oh, Shibuki. Fu fought, sobbing as mass amounts of chakra surged through her body. Kakuzu and Hidan stopped talking and turned their attention towards Fu. You bastards! I'm gonna kill you both! Fu shouted as purple chakra surrounded and she entered her version 2 cloak. And that's the end of chapter 41. Let me know how much you guys enjoyed this chapter on a scale of 1 to 10, and we'll now move on to chapter 42, which is called Power Unmatched. Here we go. Chapter 42, Power Unmatched. Previously. No. Shibuki. Fu fought, sobbing as a mass amount of chakra surged through her body. Kakuzu and Hidan stopped talking and turned their attention towards Fu. You bastards. I'm going to kill you both! Fu shouted as purple chakra surrounded her and she entered her version 2 cloak. Now. Kakuzu and Hidan watched in wonder as the purple spear completely surrounded Fu. The ground was slightly shaking and the winds were rustling through the playing field. Suddenly the whole spear turned pitch black and a large beam of energy was shot into the sky. That can't be good, Kakuzu fought as she shielded his face from the scorching winds that Fu's transformation was releasing. Roar! A massive roar was heard from inside the spear. Both Akatsuki members flinched when they felt a massive shockwave that made the earth shake. The black spear started receding and Kakuzu could now see 2 glowing green eyes behind the small layer that was now the spear. Boom! The black spear suddenly exploded outwards, blasting everything away. Kakuzu and Hidan were blown away as a small crater formed from Fu's transformation. There, in the middle of the crater, was Fu, completely surrounded in a dark blue chakra cloak. She had 5 tails swinging wildly and wings protruded from her back. She was on all 4s like some hungry lion ready to pounce on his dinner. Around her blue shell was a small protective layer of bones. The bones covered about half of her body. The bones were shaped like claws on her legs, and around her head was a white cranium with 2 massive horns. Even through her helmet of sorts, the 2 green eyes remained glowing in the background and shining through the bone structure. Fu, are you in there? Chome asked her host. Chome wondered how did Fu manage to pull so much chakra from her since the seal was still intact. Roar! Fu roared at the 2 Akatsuki members who braced themselves for their upcoming doom. Kakuzu cursed Hidan for the 1000th time. He just had to kill and bring with him a person that the Jinchuriki seemed to like. and in such a condition. She's completely lost it. She isn't in control, Chumei thought, as she wrestled through the seal for control. Fu was a wild gun at this point, as she was nothing but instinct. Fu was nothing more than pure destruction, lusting for revenge against her two enemies. Things could go really bad from here for either the Akatsuki members or anyone that stood in front of Fu using her version 2 cloak. Fu called herself and leaped forward at blinding speeds. Before Hidan could react, Fu leaned her head forward and completely pierced him with her two horns. One horn in each shoulder, pinning him to the ground. Hidan screamed and tried to get away, but he wasn't going anywhere anytime soon. Kagetsu quickly rushed his teammate and tried to kick Fu away, only to be swatted away by one of her tails, like some bothersome fly. Hidan was panicking and having flashbacks of his life as Fu removed her horns and secured Hidan to the ground using her tails. Hidan screamed as Fu opened her mouth and purple chakra started gathering in her mouth just inches away from Hidan's face. Kagetsu! Hidan screamed in fear for the first time in his life as he watched the tail beast bomb increase in size right in front of him. Katon, Tsugoku no Jutsu, Cranium Carver, Kagetsu said, and fired a powerful fireball towards Fu. The fireball collided with Fu but got only white smoke. She didn't even bother to turn towards Kagetsu. She had just one target on her mind right now, and he was right where she wanted him. The purple ball stopped growing, and with a small shockwave, it compressed to the size of marbles. Fu roared, and the small ball was sent forward, breaking through Hidan's teeth and entering his mouth. Before Hidan could process what happened, he swallowed the chakra ball. Hidan didn't have time to scream as the chakra ball exploded, lighting everything up. Suiton, Mizurapa, wild water wave, Kagetsu said, and unleashed a water wave towards the site of the explosion to try and salvage what would remain of his partner. Suddenly, a shockwave rocked through the ground and a crater formed. Chunks of Hidan's body were blasted away from the epicenter. An arm here, a leg over there, his head not too far away from his torso, nowhere to be seen. It was completely obliterated. Kagetsu had his eyes wide at the state of his partner. Hidan was supposed to be immortal and indestructible. He had increased regeneration and allowed any wound to heal in a matter of seconds. But now, he wasn't so sure of his immortality. Kagetsu focused his eyes on his target. From inside the smoke, the same two green eyes were seen glowing. Fu started walking out of the crater as her state became more and more visible. She didn't suffer any damage from any of Kagetsu's attacks or for being in the sight of the explosion. The only problem this time was a sixth tail that had just been formed. Kagetsu had sweat rolling down his face as he noticed the predicament he was in. His partner had been obliterated and now he was facing a six-tailed Jinchuriki who wasn't pleased with him. Even Kagetsu couldn't hope to withstand or even block a mildly powered tailed beast bomb. Remain calm. You still have your 5 hearts. Kagetsu fought as he planned the best he could against his target who, right now, didn't seem like some weak girl. Oi! Kagetsu! Hidan screamed, and Kagetsu's eyes widened. Kagetsu slowly turned to his right to see Hidan's head screaming towards him. You're still alive? Kagetsu started looking at the state of his partner. I can't die, you bastard! Hidan shouted, slowly regenerating. He had already regained his vocal cords as his neck was already reformed. Stitch my arms and legs back together while I heal, Hidan said, and Kagetsu got to do just that. He had his foremask keep Fu busy while he stitched what remained of Hidan back together. Hidan's head was on the ground with 2 legs and half of his arm. Kagetsu watched in amazement as Hidan's neck was growing downwards. Suddenly the neck expanded and started forming a shoulder as it connected to the chunk of the surviving half of his arm, while the other arm was being rebuilt from nothing. Since the pieces were stitched, they just fell into their place, so to speak. Fu wasn't happy that her victim survived her attack. Fu roared and all of the masks were blasted back. Kagetsu turned his attention towards Fu, who was running towards him. Fu raised one of her paws and slammed it on the ground, making a huge shockwave that pushed everything away. Kagetsu flew back while Hidan just tumbled through the ground as he was still healing. Futon, Atsugai, pressurized wind bomb. The light blue mass sent a compressed air ball towards Fu. The ball exploded on impact, and Fu was sent tumbling through the ground and crashed into a tree. They were already out of the village since their fight began. Fu shook her head as she got up to see the green face of Hidan. "I can't die, bitch!" Hidan shouted at her while laughing maniacally. Hidan raised his scythe and brought it down as hard as he could. Clang. The scythe collided with her defensive bones. Hidan's scythe didn't even scratch her defenses. Fu swung one of her tails, and Hidan was thrown backwards. Fu turned her attention towards Kagutsu, who was staying still with his mass around him. 2 masks on each side with him in the middle. Katon, Karyudan, Fire Dragon. Suiton, Suryudan, Water Dragon. Doton, Doryudan, Earth Dragon. Futon, Furyudan, Wind Dragon. Raiton, Raryudan, Lightning Dragon. Each mask charged and unleashed its own version of the elemental dragon. The 5 elemental dragons rose into the sky, coiling themselves together. The wind dragon powered the fire dragon. The water dragon powered up the lightning dragon. The dragons roared and blurred towards Fu, who couldn't dodge in time. Boom! The big explosion was felt, and Kagutsu smirked, knowing that not even Fu could escape that combination without suffering any damage. He had to thank Senju Naruto for showing him the lightning dragon all those years ago. Maybe he could thank him in person if he ever got the task to capture the 9 tails. The smoke cleared, and Fu was struggling to get up. All of the bones were cracked and some even gone. Even with her chakra-reinforced blue shell, anyone could make out that she had burn marks from the explosion. "Hidan, now!" Kagutsu shouted as Hidan appeared next to Fu and brought his scythe down right on her burned parts. Hidan chose the burn marks because it was where Fu was the most fragile. Fu was able to dodge slightly and avoid being completely pierced by his scythe, but Hidan managed to cut her deep enough to draw blood. Hidan laughed as he jumped back. He brought his scythe to his mouth and licked the small amount of blood there was on the tip of his weapon. Slowly but surely, Hidan's skin started turning pitch black, with a white drawing of his bones. Hidan cut open his wrist and let blood flow out onto the ground. Hidan drew a triangle inside a circle and stepped into the middle of both. Hidan took out a spear and shouted, "For you, Jashin-sama," and pierced right through his chest, puncturing his right lung and nearly missing his heart. Roar! Fu roared in pain as she dropped to the ground and writhed in pain. She roared as she tried to stand back up, but to no avail. Fu started losing her cloak as the bones disintegrated into dust and her tail started receding. "Oh Lord, the pain. It feels so good," Hidan said as he took pleasure in the pain coursing through his body. In the meantime, Fu's version 2 cloak completely dissipated, leaving her cloak transparent. Anyone could see the horrible state she was in. A large hole in her shoulder that was sizzling as Chomi's chakra focused solely on it. Her skin was blood red, meaning that it had been completely burned off. Suddenly the whole cloak vanished and Fu was left on the ground panting and barely conscious. "I'm an idiot. Why did I lose myself?" Fu thought to herself. She gave in to her anger and could have gone on a rampage, destroying everything, even her village. "What a mess," Kagutsu said, looking at the battlefield. Everything within a 100-meter radius was gone and replaced with nothing but death. There was no plant life, no nothing. There was nothing but destruction. You, Fu started saying, making Kagutsu turn to her. "You've made a grave mistake," Fu said, chuckling weakly, slowly opening her eyes. You are all gonna die," Fu said, making Kagutsu raise an eyebrow. "And what mistake would that be?" Kagutsu asked, amused and excited to hear her explanation. "You should have knocked me out when you had the chance," Fu shouted, and faster than anyone could react, she took out a 3-pronged kunai from her pouch and stabbed it into the ground in front of her. Fu almost buried the kunai to the hilt from the speed and power she put behind it. Kagutsu's eyes widened when he recognized the kunai. He was quickly brought out of his thoughts when the clearing was illuminated with a yellow flash. Once Kagsu and Hidan regained their vision, Kagsu's blood ran cold. Senju Naruto was standing in front of them, and by the look of his face, he was pissed. His blood-red eyes were glowing, and the ground was shaking from his chakra pressure. Moments earlier with Naruto, Konohana's academy. "Alright, quiet down," Iruka said to his class, who still continued to make noise. "I said settle down," Iruka yelled, and everyone quickly shut up and sat down. From the hall, Naruto chuckled inwards. It looked like Iruka still used his trademark jutsu. Now, Iruka started seeing that the class had calmed down. Today is a very special day. Today we have free guests that will be available for questions on their shinobi duties and how difficult the missions are, Iruka said, and the class started cheering that they wouldn't be listening to Iruka for once. "If you behave, they might show you a few tricks," Iruka said, and he was amused by their reaction. Everyone was giddy to meet these shinobi that would be teaching them instead of learning history or math from Iruka. "Now, without further ado, I introduce you, Sarutobi Konohamaru," Iruka said, and Konohamaru poofed into existence in the middle of the class, shocking all the academy students, saying that he came from nowhere. "Konohamaru is a genin that graduated just last year and is already signed up for the next tuning exams," Iruka said, and the class cheered. "Believe it!" Konohamaru shouted, pumping his fist into the air. "He's kinda cute," Hanabi thought to herself, suppressing a blush. "That bastard stole my line," Naruto thought towards Konohamaru, considering putting him in a Tsukiyomi as a punishment. "Next we have Senju Naruto," Iruka said, and the whole class gasped as Naruto appeared in a yellow flash near Konohamaru. The girls all had stars in their eyes, seeing that gorgeous face of Naruto while the boys glared at him. After all, Naruto was good looking, strong, and famous. "As you all know, Naruto-kun here is a Chunin, the head of the Senju clan and grandson of our Hokage," Iruka explained, and Naruto nodded. "And finally, we have our final guest, Hatake Kakashi," Iruka said, and waited, and waited. 5 minutes had passed, and there was no smoke and no door opening. "I'll be right back," Naruto said, sighing, and vanished in a yellow flash. Iruka sighed, knowing that Kakashi still had his nasty habits. Not 1 minute later, Naruto arrived with Kakashi in tow, completely wrapped with rope. "Naruto, was this necessary?" Kakashi asked, as Naruto dropped him to the ground with a thumb sound. Yes, it was," Naruto said, nodding his head. "As I was saying, Hatake Kakashi, one of our best Jonin. He is known as the Copy Ninja Kakashi. The man who knows over 1,000 jutsu," Iruka explained, and the class got giddy at such shinobi. Too bad none of them knew that Naruto could defeat Kakashi with a flick of a finger. "Now, are there any questions?" Iruka asked, and the class exploded, much to Naruto's amusement. Alright, settle down. Emi-chan, you go," Iruka said, and the girl nodded in appreciation. "Senju-sama," Emi started, but got interrupted. "Just Naruto will do," Naruto said, and the girl shyly nodded. "Naruto-san, I heard you are quite strong. So, why are you still a Chunin?" Emi asked, and Iruka admired the pretty decent question. "It's simple, really. There are 2 ways to be promoted to Jonin. You can either get a field promotion based on the reports of your performance, or you can take the Jonin exams. The reason I'm still a Chunin is because a few weeks ago I returned from a 3-year train trip," Naruto explained, and Emi nodded happily. "Next, Kimi-chan," Iruka said, and the boys groaned as Iruka was only picking girls. "Kakashi-san, how'd you get that scar on your eye?" Kimi asked, and Naruto flinched as he knew the story behind that. Kakashi hummed as he closed his pervert book and gathered his thoughts. "It was the first mission after my promotion to Jonin. I got slashed by a sword and ended up blind in this eye," Kakashi explained, but Kimi got confused. "Blind? But your eye looks fine," Kimi said, and Kakashi shifted uncomfortably. "One of my teammates died on that mission. His name was Uchiha Obito. He sacrificed his life to save mine and gave me his eye as a gift," Kakashi said, sighing, and activated his Sharingan for the whole class to see. "He gave me his Sharingan so he could see the world through my eyes," Kakashi stated. "He was a hero," Kimi said, and Kakashi happily nodded. That is the way of the shinobi. Make no mistake, Kakashi started in a serious tone. Death is a constant. The only way to survive and be strong is to form bonds. Train and fight for those you hold dear, and you will achieve power beyond your wildest dreams, Kakashi said, and Naruto nodded while Konohamaru was drawing blanks. Alright, Iruka said, breaking everyone from the sour mood. Next, Jiro-kun, Iruka said. Finally, Jiro shouted, much to Iruka's amusement. Hey brat, how old are you? Jiro blurted out towards Konohamaru. Who are you calling a brat? Brat, Konohamaru asked, fuming. You, Jiro replied. You look weak. I bet I could take you on, Jiro replied, saying from his chair. Bring it on, Konohamaru said as he placed his hands in a T formation ready to form shadow clones. Enough! Iruka stopped the growing argument and advanced towards another student. Hanabi-chan, you're up, Iruka said, and Hanabi nodded. So she's Hinata-chan's younger sister. They kind of look alike, Naruto thought to himself before Hanabi drew his attention. How is Hinata so strong? Hanabi asked, and the whole class went silent. Some students muttered around asking who this Hinata was. I don't intend to badmouth your father, if I can call him that, Naruto started, and Hanabi flinched. The Juken style you are learning never suited her. The Juken style was built to work around a steady stance with quick counterstrikes. However, Hinata-chan is a water-natured user. She is supposed to flow and avoid her enemy like water finding its path, Naruto explained, and Hanabi listened. As such, Hinata-chan would never truly master the original Juken. Your father never noticed this or just didn't want to see it, so he kept pushing her towards something she would never be able to achieve. With each failure, Hiyashi grew angry at her until he was finally sick of it, and expelled Hinata from the clan, Naruto said, and the class gasped, turning to Hanabi who shrunk in her seat. You asked me how is she so strong, Naruto said, gathering his thoughts. She was always strong to begin with. She had very high potential, but was being limited by your father's strict rules. Once we began training together, and with a bit of incentive and compliments, she found her way and built herself to all that she is today, Naruto replied, smiling. He really loves her, Kakashi replied, looking towards his little brother. You should swing by the Senju compound. She would be happy to see you, Naruto said, and Hanabi could only nod. Excuse me, Hisao interrupted and gathered the attention of everyone. Who is this Hinata? Hisao asked. That would be Hyuga Hinata, Hanabi's older sister and my girlfriend, Naruto explained, and sighed when he heard the pals from some girls. I think I know a way to get rid of their fangirl ways, Naruto thought to himself as he flared his chakra. Why did you flare your chakra, Naruto? Kakashi asked confused, but Naruto waved him off. A few seconds later, everyone felt the chakra usage and they could see water swirling in the middle of the room. Hinata had just arrived via water Shinshin. You called Naruto-kun? Hinata asked in a soft voice. She was wearing a white medic garb that ended up just below her knees. The coat was buttoned up and looked like it might burst open from her bust. She had her hair trapped in a long ponytail. Naruto brought his hand to his nose as he didn't expect her to look so hot in a simple medic outfit. You like it, Naruto-kun? Hinata cutely asked, bringing a finger to her chin. Bump! Naruto dropped to the ground like a sack of potatoes with blood running from his nose. Hinata giggled and crouched to pick her boyfriend up when Naruto awakened and grabbed her. He leaned up and whispered, "Save that outfit for later." And Hinata blushed but quickly let it go as they were in front of kids. Naruto cleared his throat and the blood on his nose and turned to face the class once again. Now, I would like to introduce you to Hyuga Hinata, my girlfriend, Naruto said, and the boys had stars in their eyes. Now, girls, look carefully at her, Naruto said, and Hinata raised an eyebrow at what he was doing. She didn't exactly like being in the spotlight. Isn't she gorgeous? Naruto rhetorically asked, and the class could only nod. Even Kakashi, Rika, and Konohamaru nodded. Now, what if I told you that she can give the Hokage a run for her money, Naruto said, and the class had their eyes widened. This girl of 17 years was stronger than the Hokage? She's living proof that you can dedicate your life to being a shinobi while still being beautiful, Naruto said, pecking the cheek of his girlfriend. Naruto looked backwards, and Iruka sent him a thankful nod, seeing as Naruto tried to get rid of the fangirls. He's right. Nichan is so pretty, Hanabi thought, as she decided she would definitely get to know her better. She was everything Hanabi wanted to be, strong and beautiful. Thank you for participating, Hinata-chan, Naruto said, and Hinata was in a pickle. Naruto had basically fawned her to these kids like a piece of meat, but she knew he intended to bring these girls out of their ways, so she would forgive him. See you at home, Naruto-kun, Hinata said, and disappeared in a water shinshin. Now, next question, Iruka said, and the class raised their arms once again. Kaio-chan, Iruka said, and the girls squealed loudly. Dear Kami, Kakashi thought when he started hearing a small ring in his ears. That girl would put Sakura to shame, Iruka thought sadly. Sakura was the first one to go. Can I touch your fan, Kaio asked, but Naruto frowned. This fan is very special. Konohamaru suddenly walked up to Kakashi. Looks like Naruto is the center of attention, Konohamaru whispered, while Kakashi only nodded. Not that he minded much. He didn't care much for glory, but neither did Naruto. And it belonged to my grandfather, Uchiha Madara. Naruto finished his explanation as to why Mayo couldn't touch the fan without dying. But he took it out and showed it to everybody. Next, Isamu-kun, Iruka said, and the kid nodded and faced Naruto once again, who sighed. Do you really have the Kyuubi trapped inside of you? Isamu asked, and silence followed his question. I do, but why do you ask? Naruto asked, curious. How can he fit in there? Don't you get a tummy ache? Isamu asked, curious, and Naruto laughed. They are naive, but funny, Naruto thought, before a wild thought occurred in his mind. He wouldn't, Kurama thought as he noticed the face his host had. He is, Kurama thought as he noticed Naruto had bit his finger and slammed his hand on the ground. Kuchiyos no Jutsu, Kyuubi no Yoko, summoning technique, nine-tailed demon fox, Naruto said, slamming his hand on the ground. Chibi-fied version, Naruto added in afterthought as the smoke disappeared to reveal a small, nine-tailed fox. Kurama was in the outside world and no bigger than a bunny. I'm not amused, Kurama stated as Naruto picked him up and placed him on top of his head. Class? Meet the Kyuubi, Naruto said, and the girls squealed at how adorable the little fox looked. Kakashi was just amused as to how Naruto could treat a fox that could wipe out their village in less than a minute like that. You see, he doesn't take up much space, Naruto said, amused, and Kurama started growling, though it sounded like the fox was just yipping away. Next, Ichigo-kun, Iruka said, and an orange-haired boy nodded. What's the name of your most powerful jutsu? Ichigo asked towards the free shinobi in front of him. Rasengan, Konohamaru said, making a blue ball of chakra appear in his hand. That would be my Raikiri, Kakashi replied as his hand sparkled with chakra. My strongest purely offensive jutsu would be the Raiton Raijin no Ken, Fist of the Thunder God, Naruto stated. The Susanoo was considered more of a shield than a weapon, not that it didn't pack quite a punch, and the Rinnegan he wanted to keep a secret for as long as he could. Can you show us? Ichigo asked, and Kakashi paled. Better not, unless you want to turn the village into a crater, Kakashi quickly replied, as to not give ideas to Naruto, who grinned. Alright, next question, Yuki-chan, Iruka said, and the girl nodded, saying up. What can you tell us of Uchiha Madara? Yuki asked, and everyone raised an eyebrow. I can tell you that he was a bastard for controlling me, and if I see him again, I'm gonna eat him. The Chibi Kyuubi growled. Easy there, Kyuubi-kun, Naruto said, making Kurama glare at him. I don't know much about the man since I never met him, Naruto started. I suppose I can tell them a few things that Tosan told me, Naruto thought. For starters, he was a proud man. He was never ashamed of flaunting either his clan name or the superiority of the Sharingan. You can say that he was arrogant, but he could easily back up his words with his power, Naruto said before another thought occurred to him. Though I don't quite understand why he was called Konoha's greatest traitor. The only thing I know he did was leave the village. That hardly calls for such a title, Naruto said in afterthought, and everyone got to thinking. Naruto had a point. Why was Madara this great traitor when he simply left the village? Well, he did try to kill Shodaime, Kakashi stated, and Naruto nodded. Although Orochimaru left the village and tried to kill his son Daime. Oh please, Naruto said, waving his hand. Those two hate each other, but he would have never gone through with it. I heard he was a big softie on the inside, Naruto said, and Kakashi had his eyes widened. Uchiha fucking Madara, a softie, Kakashi wondered and thought. If Madara was a softie, then what would Naruto call a hard ass? His name alone would bring fear to every nation, Kakashi thought, shaking his head. Have you ever wondered why those two never kill each other? Naruto rhetorically asked. They fought countless times as they grew up, and they never kill each other. That's because even though they were enemies, they were like brothers. Neither of them would be able to actually land the finishing blow, Naruto explained, and Kakashi stared at him. Look at it this way, Naruto started. Hashirama was one of the greatest medics to ever live. Don't you think he'd be able to make sure he was dead during his final battle? He saw Madara on the ground and couldn't finish him off, Naruto explained. What more can I tell you? Naruto asked out loud before continuing. He loved his family very much, especially his little brother Uchiha Izuna, Naruto said, and the class and even Iruka listened. It wasn't every day you could hear so much about such an old figure. Minato's point of view, flashback. Tosan! Tosan! A 5-year-old blonde-haired kid ran for the forest yelling to his father. Minato-kun, Madara said as Minato stopped near his father. Come look, quick, Minato said and dragged an amused Madara after him. Once they stopped running, they were at the entrance of a forest. Look, look, Minato said and took a deep breath and suddenly started running towards the tree. As Minato arrived near the tree, he placed his right foot on it, sticking himself to the bark. He then continued running up all the way up the tree, reaching the top. I finally did it, Minato shouted from the top of the tree. I can see that, Madara said amused at the cheerful attitude of his son. And you only took a few days. If you keep this going, you'll be as strong as your old man in no time, Madara said as Minato jumped down and landed in front of him. Really? Minato asked hopefully. Of course, Madara said roughly Minato's wild hair. You are my son, after all, Madara said, and both left towards their home where Hanako was preparing dinner. Tosan? Minato asked his father while they were walking home. Madara turned to Minato and motioned him to go on. Do you know why Kasan is sick? Minato asked slowly. There's nothing for you to worry about, Minato-kun, Madara said laughing. Let's just say your mother is cooking your little brother, Madara said amused when Minato jumped into the air at the prospect of a little brother. Minato didn't have many friends as they lived quite a distance away from the nearest town. Really? Minato asked hopefully and Madara nodded. What's his name? Minato asked curious about his little brother to be. Since Hanako-chan named you, I'll be the one naming your brother. He's going to be called Izuna, in memory of my own little brother, Madara said sadly. That bastard of my brother took out his own eyes and gave them to me, Madara thought angrily at the memory of losing his brother. Madara told him that he could still fight even when he was blinded by an enemy. Madara sighed and removed the dark thoughts of his mind and continued making their way home. Kasan! Minato called out. Hanako turned to see both Madara and Minato arriving. She was surprised when Minato rushed her and looked towards the food pan in the oven. When is Izuna-kun finished cooking? Minato asked, and Hanako faltered for a moment before turning to an amused Madara. And a flashback. And there isn't much else I can tell you about him, Naruto said, although he didn't tell them about this particular episode as it would reveal Minato's identity. Alright, next. Iruka didn't manage to finish as Naruto's head snapped upwards as if he felt something. Something's wrong. Fu just activated her marker. Kakashi, let Bachan know where I'm going, Naruto said and vanished in a yellow flash. Kakashi hummed and thought. He never did say where he was going, did he? Kakashi asked. Back with Fu. The ground was shaking as both Akatsuki members were frozen, staring at the escalating chakra of Naruto. He was pissed that the Akatsuki would dare to try and take another Biju. Even more, that this Biju was still inside a friend. Naruto was sick of this Toby fellow, and then Kakuzu and this silver guy tried to take Fu. This would be their last mistake. Naruto had just declared open season on the Akatsuki, and he would personally reduce them all to ashes. Naruto didn't even spare the Akatsuki members a glance as he turned his back to them and crouched near Fu. Naruto's eyes flashed silver. Naraka Path, Naruto murmured, placing 2 fingers on Fu's forehead. Naruto's fingers glowed green, and Fu's skin started regenerating quickly. Her shoulder wound closed almost immediately. Those eyes! Chome fought in fear to herself deep behind her cage. This human had her father's eyes. She never would have thought she would ever see those eyes again. And to be fair, it scared her to no end. Those eyes had no limit. They could do anything the wielder wished. They were called the eyes of the gods for a reason. They held no limit. What? Fu asked as she felt revitalized in under a few seconds. How'd you do this? Fu asked curiously as she got up and turned to both Akatsuki members who had their eyes widened. I'll tell you later, Naruto said, and turned around, coming face to face with Hidan and Kakuzu. Now, I have a couple of worms to deal with, Naruto said darkly as a small smile made his way up his face. Kurama could feel Naruto's emotions, his thrill for battle. Hidan laughed as he regained his wits and pointed his scythe towards Naruto. Who's this pathetic mortal? Do you really think you can take both of us on? Hidan rhetorically asked. Shut up, you fool! Kakuzu yelled toward his partner. He is Senju Naruto, the Konoha no Raijin, Konoha's thunder god, the Shinobi no Kami, god of the Shinobi, an S-rank Shinobi with a fleet on site order, but above all, Kakuzu said, narrowing his eyes at his new opponent. Uchiha Madara's heir, and a Jinchuriki of the Kyuubi no Yoko, Kakuzu said as a bead of sweat rolled down his face. Great, Hidan replied. We get to take 2 Jinchurikis instead of 1. We can kill 2 rabbits with 1 stone. Hidan laughed. He still doesn't grasp the severity of the predicament we are in, Kakuzu thought to himself. He still remembers the battle he had with Naruto 3 years ago. Even though Kakuzu was weaker by using the body doubles, he still lost, and 3 years of training could do so much. And now Naruto was standing in front of him, patiently waiting, stoically looking at him, and it scared him to no end. Hidan, Kakuzu said as he gathered his partner's attention. We are leaving, Kakuzu said, and got ready to leave. What? Hidan is screaming in outrage. You heard what Leader Sama said. He's beyond the strength of any of us, Kakuzu said towards his annoying partner. That fool seemed to have a death wish. They are running away just because Naruto shows up, Fu thought to herself, wondering just how powerful Naruto was to scare them off. You won't be going anywhere, Naruto said as a very large purple barrier rose from all sides of the battlefield. You didn't think I was just sitting here, still, did you? Naruto rhetorically asked, smirking the panic in face of Kakuzu. He trapped himself with both of them? Fu thought, shocked with Naruto's boldness. Was he so arrogant that he thought he could take them both on? Or was he confident in his power? Deep inside Fu, Chomen was completely focused on the battle. If this person could really wield the Rinnegan, then the Akatsuki were no match for him. Enough! Hidan shouted as he rushed Naruto head on. Let's kill the bastard, Hidan said as he jumped high into the air and swung down his scythe. Hidan, stop! Kakuzu yelled, but to no avail as his partner charged Naruto. Hidan's scythe came down in a diagonal arc. Naruto ducked and let the scythe pass safely above his head. The scythe buried itself on the ground. Naruto swatted Hidan's hand away from the scythe and brought his knee to his stomach. Hidan's eyes popped out and he buckled in pain. Naruto caught Hidan's neck and raised him into the air with a single hand. Do you want to dance? Naruto asked with his Sharingan glowing. Hidan was writhing in pain. He tried to make Naruto release his hand around his neck, but he couldn't. Naruto's grip was too firm. Hidan just stayed there, slowly choking to death, except he couldn't die. You're either very brave or very, very foolish, Naruto said, laughing at Hidan's predicament. Naruto turned his attention to Kakuzu, but the man was frozen in place and could only look as Naruto slowly choked his partner. Interesting, Naruto thought as he looked towards Hidan. The man was not dying. Naruto shifted his attention towards the necklace Hidan carried. It was a hollow circle with a triangle inside. I've seen that before, Naruto thought to himself. Careful, Naruto, Fu yelled from outside the barrier. Chome says that one is immortal, Fu yelled, and Naruto raised an eyebrow, looking intently at Hidan. Naruto released Hidan and kicked him in the chest, sending him flying into Kakuzu. Ah! Hidan screamed in frustration as he crashed into Kakuzu. I'm going to enjoy sacrificing you to Jashin-sama, Hidan yelled and turned to his teammate. Get up, you pussy, Hidan said and brought Kakuzu from his thoughts. Who are you calling pussy? Kakuzu asked in a dangerous voice. You! Hidan said, pointing at him. You froze against some teenager, Hidan explained. I froze? Kakuzu thought to himself as he made sure to never repeat the same mistake. It won't happen again. We need to work together against him, otherwise we'll both die, Kakuzu said, and Hidan laughed, saying he couldn't die. I remember now, Naruto thought as he was hit with a realization when Hidan said something about Jashin. Naruto read about people that prayed to this god Jashin, and as long as they gave him human tributes, this god would grant the humans immortality and advanced regeneration. Turn him into ash, and let's him regenerate from that, Kurama suggested from inside Naruto's mind, which he agreed. Either that, or I could remove his soul, Naruto replied, which the fox also agreed. Naruto used which one came first when the opportunity presented itself. Naruto bent slightly forward before he disappeared in a burst of speed. Fast, Kakuzu thought as he brought both his arms to his face in an X formation. Naruto's fist collided with Kakuzu's arms, but he was flung back nonetheless. Naruto ducked under a horizontal swing from Hidan and channeled chakra into his wrist seals. Naruto's Shakuto poofed into existence. Naruto quickly grabbed the hilt and started channeling light chakra through it. Naruto did an upward slice and severed Hidan's scythe in half. The three-blade scythe fell to the ground, with Hidan only holding now the worthless metal staff. Naruto smirked as he used his calmly and allowed a compressed wind ball to face right through him and hit Hidan head-on. Hidan was blasted back while Naruto got away unscathed. Half a silver ribcage appeared around Naruto and a silver arm suddenly sprouted from that. Naruto Susanoo quickly grabbed the light blue mask that sent the wind ball and crushed it into nothingness. The light blue mask fell to the ground in pieces while the black threads dissolved into nothing. Damn it, he's already got one of my hearts, Kakuzu thought to himself as his mask regrouped with him. Doton, Tabe, Chikyu, Devouring Earth, Naruto shouted, slamming both his hands into the ground. Devouring Earth, one of Hashirama's most powerful jutsus that he taught Naruto. The whole ground started shaking as the earth started breaking and twisting itself. The ground beneath Kakuzu and his mask exploded as several huge jaws of earth rose from the ground to devour him. Kakuzu jumped to the side and up as both he and his mask did their best to avoid being swallowed. Naruto did the jutsu and turned to Hidan. That earth jutsu should keep Kakuzu busy long enough while he dealt with Hidan. Naruto turned towards Hidan and rushed him head-on. Hidan pulled his retractable metal spear and parried Naruto's blows as best as he could. Hidan made use of his immortality and allowed Naruto to strike him. Naruto performed a downward slash, giving Hidan a large gash on his chest. Hidan took advantage of Naruto's blade being almost on the ground and brought his spear high into the air. He brought it down as fast as he could, only for it to phase right through Naruto and bury itself into the ground. Naruto kicked Hidan on the shoulder and he was sent tumbling into the ground. Hidan got up and looked towards Naruto, who had both hands on the ground. A golden chain sprouted from the ground near Hidan's foot. Hidan quickly sidestepped it and backflipped when another one came from the opposite direction. While Hidan was busy dodging chains, one of Naruto's clones was powering the barrier and saw a mask incoming. Since Naruto's clone had the Rinnegan active, they shared their field of vision, giving Naruto 360 degrees of vision around the battlefield. Naruto channeled chakra on the back of his fan. Goodbye, barrier technique. Naruto fought, and a silvery Susanoo-like shield appeared around Naruto, blocking a lightning bolt. Naruto rose, picking up his fan, and with a quick turn, slammed his fan into the yellow mask and sent it towards Kakuzu. Time to end this, Naruto thought, as he channeled more chakra into the earth. The ground shook and 10 chains sprouted all at once. Hidan didn't manage to avoid all of them and ended up snared to the ground on his knees. Kakuzu! Naruto shouted towards his enemy as he stopped his earth jutsu and allowed Kakuzu to look at him. Look at your partner very closely, Naruto said, and only raised his index finger into the air. Katon, fire style. Naruto said, a small orange light sparkled at the tip of Naruto's finger. Orange chakra could be heard swirling around his finger and started forming some kind of small spear. Goen Rasengan. Great flame Rasengan, Naruto said, and suddenly the ball of chakra expanded, turning almost black, with the edges gaining orange and red hue, forming a ring of flames. It was like Naruto had a mini sun at the tip of his finger. I won't get there in time, Kakuzu fought as Naruto slammed his fire Rasengan into Hidan, who was blasted away and rose in the sky in a maelstrom of fire. Hidan screamed as he was being torn apart, limb by limb, until finally being reduced to nothing more than ashes. Naruto shielded his face from the fire tornado in the air. Suddenly the maelstrom of fire ended and there was nothing left. Kakuzu watched in fear as a few ashes floated away in the wind. There was nothing left of Hidan but ashes. He killed Hidan with a single jutsu. Kakuzu fought in fear. What monster had they unleashed? If you poke the dragon, Naruto started breaking Kakuzu from his thoughts. Be sure you can run away, Naruto said, smirking as he made his way towards Kakuzu, who braced himself. Enton, Goka Mikyaku, Inferno style, great fire annihilation, Naruto said, and unleashed a wave of pitch black flames towards Kakuzu. Kakuzu knew very well that he couldn't block this jutsu, and his only choice was to dodge. His mask flew high into the air as Kakuzu sunk into the ground. Kakuzu popped out from the ground as he tried to give Naruto an uppercut. Naruto backflipped and tried a horizontal swing towards Kakuzu's raising fist. Naruto was successful and cleaved 4 of his fingers. Kakuzu groaned in pain and jumped back, regrouping with his free remaining mass. Kakuzu and his mask gathered their chakra and unleashed the elemental dragons. They were Kakuzu's most powerful attack that, when combined, it almost surpassed S-rank level. Naruto smiled and simply raised his hand, facing incoming dragons. Diva Path, Naruto says he shifted into his Rinnegan. Shinra Tensei, Naruto said, and unleashed a shockwave that collided with the dragons and easily dispelled the technique. Everything was blown backwards, the elemental dragons, the mask, and even Kakuzu. Kakuzu spat blood to the ground and shakily got up, only to take a step back when he looked into Naruto's eyes. The Rinnegan. It cannot be. He has the same eyes as Leader Sama. Kakuzu fought as his heart was going a mile a minute until a realization hit him. The girl was right. We were all dead man walking. Kakuzu thought to himself, chuckling and accepting his fate. Several chains shot from the ground, snaring everyone to the ground. The masks were squirming and trying to get free, but to no avail. To think, you have the Rinnegan, Kakuzu chuckled as he tried to raise his head and meet Naruto in the eye. Naruto wasn't tired or even injured. All of this was a mistake. He truly is beyond any of us, Kakuzu thought, as he watched Naruto extend his right hand forward, with his palm facing upwards. Juryuton. Gravity release, Naruto said, as purple chakra started swirling in his hand. Moments later, a small pitch-black spear formed in his palm. Around the spear, a series of white rings started appearing, orbiting the black spear. The rings started aligning themselves into a one disc-like shape around the orb. It seemed that Naruto had a black planet in his hand, with planetary rings around it. Either that or a black hole. Rasen Ringu. Spiraling fear wheel, Naruto said, and didn't even need to throw the spear. The new Rasengan simply levitated from his hand and flew with high speeds towards the pinned down Kakuzu and his mask. Kakuzu watched in wonder, the last thing he would ever see. As the orb arrived near the enemy, it suddenly expanded in a maelstrom of blackness. The Rasengan expanded and started absorbing and pulling everything towards the center. It really was like a black hole, swallowing everything in its reach. The black hole kept swirling and dragging a mass that tried to fly away. Katsu was long gone inside the Spear of Doom. The wind was swirling towards the black hole in the middle of the clearing. Rocks and trees were ripped out from the ground due to the attractive force and lost within it. Nothing within 10 meters range from the black hole could ever hope to escape it. Amazing, Fu thought watching the jutsu Naruto had unleashed. She had never seen such a jutsu in her life, and she wondered if that was even ninjutsu to begin with. Once the free mass had been pulled, the black dome started expanding, eating up part of the terrain and almost tripling in size. Suddenly, like a flash before anyone's eyes, the black dome imploded and disappeared, leaving nothing behind but a crater that it had created. 2 down, Naruto said as he dispelled his clones, and the barrier around the field was dropped. Naruto approached Fu, who had her jaw on the ground at Naruto's display of power. "I should have called you sooner," Fu muttered. "Yes," Naruto said, nodding his head. "You should have." "I spent the last 3 years preparing myself for them," Naruto said, and watched as Fu slowly walked up to Shibuki's body and fall to her knees crying. "I guess he was important to you," Naruto softly said, placing a hand on her shoulder. "He was the only one that liked me," Fu sobbed at the loss of her only friend in this village. "What I'm about to do," Naruto said, making her face him to hear the seriousness of his voice. "Tell no one about it. Understand?" Naruto asked Fu, and she quickly nodded, not knowing what he was going to do. "Ram, snake." Naruto made the 2 hand seals before he closed his eyes and concentrated. "It can't be!" Chome thought in disbelief from inside her host as she watched the events unfold. "Geto, outer path. Rinne Tensei no Jutsu. Samsara of heavenly life technique," Naruto said, as he started emanating a green light. Naruto placed his hand on Shibuki's chest, and his body was covered in a green light from head to toe. A few seconds later, the green aura died down and Shibuki started to stir. Fu had her eyes wide when she noticed Shibuki opening his eyes. "He was dead. I'm sure of it," Fu thought to herself, helping Shibuki up and looking towards Naruto, who had opened his eyes to show his Rinnegan. "Fu-chan, do not underestimate the power of those eyes," Chome warned from inside her host. "With the Rinnegan, Naruto can do anything he wishes. He is close to a god," Chome said, and Fu slowly nodded. What happened?" Shibuki asked as he raised to his feet. "The last thing I remember was that silver-haired guy becoming all black and white," Shibuki explained, and looked towards Fu, who was wiping away a few tears. "You were unconscious from the fight. I called Naruto to help, and once he defeated them, he healed you," Fu explained, discreetly looking towards Naruto, who nodded. "Well then, you have my deepest thanks, Naruto-san. You not only saved my village, but also Fu-chan," Shibuki said, giving a small bow as a thank you. "Take Fu and go rest. There is something I have to do first. I'll catch up with you later," Naruto said, and both Shibuki and Fu nodded and left towards the village. Once they were gone, Naruto walked to the middle of the battlefield and crouched near the fingers of Katsu that he had sliced earlier. In the middle of the fight, Katsu's rain started emanating chakra. It was strange for a rain to give off chakra. Naruto picked up the finger and slowly removed the rain. Naruto turned to the rain and noticed the kanji for north on it. Not being someone to back down, Naruto placed the rain on his hand, and his consciousness was immediately shifted to someplace else. Akatsuki hideout. All 8 of the Akatsuki members were gathered together as they wait for Katsu and Hidan to arrive with Fu, the Jinchuriki of the Nanabi. Katsu had sent a message saying that he found Jinchuriki and that he would proceed with her capture. "What's the status of your searches?" Pain asked as they patiently wait for Katsu and Hidan to arrive at their location. "Yeah, we have located the Jinchuriki of the Rokubi Utakata, I believe he's called," Daedor said, and Pain nodded. "What about the zombie?" Pain asked. "According to my spies," Sasori started, "the zombie is hiding in the lakes around the islands of the Mist Village. If my information is right, after the Q Jinchuriki defeated Yagura, the zombie was released, but he didn't seal it," Sasori explained, and Pain narrowed his eyes. You mean to tell me that there's a Biju out there without a host? Pain asked, and Sasori nodded. It could prove more difficult to subdue as Bijus without hosts have full access to their abilities. Interesting, Kisame commented. Who's the new Mizukage? Kisame asked, curious. Mei Terumi was named the 5th Mizukage shortly after Yagura's defeat, Sasori replied, and Kisame frowned. They won't steal the Sambi then. The Kiwi brat left the Sambi without a host for a reason, and most likely Mei agreed to it. The turtle won't be sealed, Kisame explained. It matters not. I'll capture myself if need be, Pain said, and turned towards Itachi. What about the Gobi and Yambi? Pain asked, and Itachi simply opened his eyes to reveal his blood-red Sharingan. Both of Iwatch and Cherokee have signing travel rights. They are loyal to their villages, but don't have a fixed location. We have the Yambi's location, but the Gobi still eludes us, Itachi sulkily replied. Zetsu, work on tracking down the Gobi, Pain ordered. Yes, Leader Sama, Zetsu replied. In the meantime, Itachi and Kisame will proceed with the Yambi's capture. Deidara and Sasori will proceed with Utakata's capture, Pain ordered, and both parties nodded. Kah! Kisame shouted. What's taking them so long? Kisame asked as he was bored out of his mind. Pain's eye twitched as he was also tired of waiting for them to deliver the Jinchuriki. Zetsu, Pain called out. Yes, Leader Sama, the white Zetsu replied. Go find out why they're taking so long, will you? Pain said in a bored tone. Yes, they will not be coming. Everyone flinched at the new voice. All Akatsuki members shifted their attention from Zetsu and towards the newcomer who was standing in place of Kakuzu. The new holographic image had long blonde, waist-length, spiky hair with bangs that framed his face and partially covered his right eye. He also had 3 distinctive whisker marks on each cheek. On his back, he had a wide fan with 3 blood-red tomoes on each side. It had a long hand with bandages wrapped around the base. The main part of the weapon was light brown with the edges being black. Let's talk, Naruto said, smirking with his Sharingan glowing and looking at the shocked faces of every Akatsuki member. And that is the end of chapter 42. Pretty good chapter, if I do say so myself, and we will now move on to chapter 43, which is called The Real Hunter. Here we go. Chapter 43, The Real Hunter. Previously, they will not be coming. Everyone flinched at the new voice. All Akatsuki members shifted their attention from Zetsu and towards the newcomer who was standing in the place of Kakuzu. The new holographic image had long, blonde, waist-length, spiky hair with bangs that framed his face and partially covered his right eye. He also had 3 distinctive whisker marks on each cheek. On his back, he had a wide fan with 3 blood-red tomoes on each side. It had a long hand with bandages wrapped around the base. The main part of the weapon was light brown with the edges being black. Let's talk, Naruto said, smirking with his Sharingan glowing and looking into shocked faces of every Akatsuki member. Now, Naruto was standing in front of his supposed hunters. Everyone looked shocked at the presence of the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, although the usually stoic Uchiha Itachi couldn't help but manage a small smile. They were all holograms with the exception of Tobi and some plant-like creature. Welcome, Naruto-kun, Itachi said quietly, chuckling. So quiet that if it weren't for the petrified faces of everyone, no one would have heard it. I've gotta say, Naruto started carefully looking at every single member of the Akatsuki, keeping in mind to remember every detail he could. He looked around and saw that every single person adorned the traditional Akatsuki cloak, which was a black cloak with red clouds. Beginning on his right, he spotted someone who was arched down. Naruto couldn't see much of him as he had his face covered with a face mask, similar to Kakashi. In fact, behind his body he had a tail menacingly waving. It was a long, mechanical, scorpion-like tail. Next to him was a blonde man. He had slanted blue eyes and very long blonde hair, which he wore drawn into a half ponytail with the rest of it hanging down freely, the bang hanging over his left eye. He also had mouths in each of the palms of his hands that seemed to freak Naruto. Naruto quickly realized who this was from his appearance. He was Deidara the Bomber, S-rank Nukenin from Iwa. Standing next to Deidara was a person Naruto knew all too well. Said person was Tobi, whose only visible Sharingan eye was narrowing at Naruto. Naruto could feel his hatred for the blonde, and Tobi was watching him very carefully. Tobi only shivered as he looked at the smirking face of Naruto. Everything about him screamed Uchiha Madara. His posture, his appearance, and the way he fought. If it weren't for their different personalities, they could pass for twins. Naruto continued looking around, and near Tobi was something. He had two large Venus flytrap-like extensions that enveloped his head and upper body, giving him a plant-like appearance. Said extensions were slightly open at the top, revealing what seemed to be a head of a person. Although this head was half black and half white, split perfectly in the middle. He had short green hair and yellow eyes. Naruto repressed a shiver after seeing the weird feints the Akatsuki had, but continued. Naruto looked towards the remaining members, staying in front of him. There were two members that he had already fought and knew very well. Hoshigaki Kisame, Nukenin of the Mist Village, wielder of Samehada, and Uchiha Itachi, Nukenin from the Leaf Village, and master of the Sharingan bloodline. Nothing new there, so Naruto turned his attention to the last two members. He was surprised to see a female in such a group, but observed her as well. The woman had blue hair, amber-colored eyes, lavender eyeshadow, and a labrae piercing. Although everyone seemed shocked to see Naruto appear in the middle of the cave, she had a neutral face. Naruto shifted his attention to the last member of the group. The last member stood in the middle of the cave. He had spiky orange hair and bore 6 piercings, a metal bar through each ear, 3 studs through the side of his upper nose, and 1 spike stud on each end of the bottom lip. He also wore a metal headband with the scratch symbol of Amy. The thing that caught Naruto's attention was his eyes. Silver eyes with several concentric rings around his pupil. The Rinnegan, Naruto thought to himself, narrowing his eyes at what he inferred to be the leader of the group.
This is bad, Naruto.
Kurama called the attention to his partner. Naruto made a mental acknowledgement.
Look carefully to where you are standing,
Kurama said, and Naruto raised an eyebrow but looked down all the same. He and everyone else of the Akatsuki were staying on top of big fingers. Naruto carefully observed where these fingers were connected and saw that it were hands. Naruto jumped down from the finger and stood in the middle of the cave, facing every member and getting a good look at the statue. It was some kind of earthen-colored humanoid entity with most of its body looking decayed. It had 9 eyes, although the eyes were all closed for some reason. Its back also has a number of spike-like protrusions. The statue hands were also chained together. Is this the Ghetto Mazo? Naruto was shocked that the statue was summoned, but Naruto wasn't wrong. He could feel the statue, something that only someone with the Rinnegan could do. This is bad. Very bad, Naruto thought, pondering what to do with the things he learned.
What do you plan to do?
Kurama asked, also concerned. There is only one reason to summon the Ghetto Mazo from its resting place in the moon, and that reason was to awaken the Ten Tails. Let's take things slow. I plan on getting as much information as I could, but I never expected a Rinnegan user and the Ghetto Mazo. Let's see how things work out, Naruto thought before gathering his thoughts, and then he couldn't look surprised or worried about the events. He had to be seen as someone strong and undisturbed by the revelations. This is a nice setup, Naruto said out loud, breaking the stupor of every member. The reins allow anyone to shift their consciousness onto the destination and even give these illusions the ability to channel chakra to some degree, Naruto said, looking intently at Pain's eyes. Sharingan boring into the Rinnegan. Where Kakasu and Hidan? Pain asked, narrowing his eyes at his prey. I don't know where Kakasu went, but I believe I saw a few ashes of Hidan flying around, Naruto said, chuckling, while Pain's anger exploded. You will pay for that, QB, Pain stated, but Naruto didn't seem very affected by it. You've got some balls, Brad, Kisame said, chuckling. Why, thank you, but I don't swing that way, Naruto said, smiling, making Kisame scowl. So, I take it you are the leader of the Akatsuki, having the Rinnegan and all, Naruto said, making Toby narrow his eyes at him. Very well, I shall indulge you. I'm the leader of the Akatsuki. I'm Pain, Pain stated. So, you're a masochist, Naruto asked as Pain's eyes twitched and Kisame burst out laughing. Leave it to Naruto to make fun of S-rank shinobi. I wonder what Konan-chan would say, Naruto innocently asked, turning to the blue-haired woman, who flinched at the name. So I was right, Naruto thought to himself when he saw Konan flinch. He almost missed it, but his Sharingan caught it.
How'd you know?
Kurama asked, curious about his conclusion. The Rinnegan doesn't simply drop from the sky. You remember Erosanin and what he told me about the Rinnegan and the Amy orphans? There aren't many people who fit the description of Yahiko and Konan, and for two of them to be in the same room, and with one of them having the Rinnegan? I took a shot, Naruto explained, and Kurama chuckled. The brat was clever. So, I was right about you being Konan, Naruto said, as Konan narrowed her eyes at him. Jiraiya said that you died along with your friends, Naruto said. Jiraiya-sensei knows nothing, Konan neutrally replied, but Naruto shrugged his shoulders. And you, Naruto said, turning to Pain. You're disgusting. To think you would stoop so low to use your own friends as paths, Nagato, Naruto said, and Nagato's eyes widened. This is bad, Toby thought to himself. Nagato should have dropped the meme the moment the QB brat appeared, as to keep everyone's identities a secret, but now that was too late. Behind that goofy attitude of yours lies a very bright mind. You are much smarter than you let on, Pain said, gaining a smirk in return. Deception is the way of ninja after all, although you seem to have the wrong idea, Naruto started. You think that this is a story where the bad guys are all powerful and know everything, while the hero knows nothing and struggles to victory, Naruto said, laughing. No, Naruto said in just above a whisper. In this story, I'm the villain, Naruto said, laughing as his Sharingan glowed a menacing red. Your plan will never work. From the moment you left me alone to train, you cemented your defeat, Naruto said, smirking and releasing killing intent. No one can stand to the power of a god, Pain stoically said. Was I like this? Going on about being God Almighty, Naruto thought to himself as Kurama only nodded. Even gods die, Nagato, Naruto said. Although I'm curious about what your plans are. What do you want the Biju for? Naruto asked, playing the ignorant role. With the power of the Biju, I'll create a weapon that would destroy every nation. With it, no one would ever dare to attack one another. With this weapon, under my rule, there will be peace. A never-ending peace with no bloodshed, no wars, and no hate, Pain said, and Naruto was surprised to see that he wanted peace. Peace through fear is nothing more than an illusion, Naruto seriously said, his goofy attitude gone. After all, the Rikodu did ask for any descendant to try and achieve peace, and Naruto would do his best. Through fear and pain, this peace will last, Pain said with confidence. No, it won't. You will cage people, and eventually their animal side will come out, Naruto explained. It doesn't matter in the end, as you will never be able to finish this weapon, Naruto said. Once you experience true pain, you will understand why this world is doomed without a god to watch over it, Pain said, and Naruto turned him off. You will understand it, so, Naruto was saying, but quickly shut up and turned to the plant-like thing in the room. This chakra. That thing has two completely separate chakra signatures, Naruto said, focusing his Sharingan at Zetsu. Toby watched silently as Naruto observed Zetsu. Toby could see Naruto's eyes glowing, and he concentrated on the plant-like creature. Your chakra feels familiar, Naruto said towards Zetsu, who remained silent. Both of them, Naruto said, and Zetsu was surprised. Who are you? Naruto asked. I'm the white Zetsu. And I'm the black Zetsu, Zetsu replied, and Toby turned surprised towards his pet. Why did you answer him? Toby curiously asked. I find myself in a pickle, the white Zetsu started. Madara-sama created me, and as such, I'm obligated to answer to him and his blood. On the other hand, he told me to obey you, so... Can you understand my situation? The white Zetsu asked, completely unaware of the different reactions he got. Konan was right. He isn't Madara, Pain thought to himself, narrowing his eyes at Toby. Interesting, Naruto said as Toby narrowed his eyes towards Naruto. I now know why you feel so familiar. Your black half, your chakra is very similar to mine. If I had to guess, I would say that you are some clone of Uchiha Madara himself, Naruto said, and Toby had his eyes widened. Censors were a real pain in the ass. Yes, Zetsu was about to reply, but didn't get to finish as Toby used his calmly and warped him away into his dimension. I look forward to talking to him again, Naruto replied, and Toby was furious. Zetsu was supposed to be his most loyal pet, and now I found out that Zetsu is primarily allied to Madara. It looked like Madara and any descendants' orders took priority over Toby's. Another thorn in my end. I might have to call him back sooner than I thought, Toby thought to himself. Is it not strange? Naruto asked, but Toby got confused. How easy loyalties can change, Naruto said, chuckling. Toby, where are you hiding Sasuke? Naruto asked, and Itachi's head snapped towards Toby that he almost broke his neck. Itachi still thought that Sasuke was behind bars in Konoha. It appears that the Hokage kept things hidden better than he thought. Eyes like his are rare, but what is it you expect to achieve here? Toby asked. Nothing much, Naruto said, shrugging his shoulders. Just to show you that no matter how much you try, how hard you try, you will fail, Naruto said, smirking. Big words for a 17-year-old brat, Toby said. You forget that I just decimated 2 of your members, and besides, I'm not alone, Naruto said. Yes, Hyuga Hinata, Toby said, and Naruto narrowed his eyes at that tone. It would be a shame if something were to happen to her, Toby playfully said.
Don't let him under your skin,
Kurama said, and Naruto nodded, knowing it was very true. You won't do anything to her, Naruto simply said, and Toby raised an eyebrow. And I know this because you're a coward, Toby. You would never dare to face me, and you know it very well. You hide behind that mask of yours, telling the world you're my grandfather, Uchiha Madara, when you clearly don't have the power to back it up, Naruto said, and every member turned to Toby. You are just some Uchiha with a Mangekyo and delusions of grandeur. Take those eyes away, and what are you? Naruto rhetorically asked. Some loser who couldn't handle it back in the leaf, and wants to prove the world he's something, Naruto said to the fuming Toby. You had to resort to controlling the Kyuubi to attack Konoha, and even then, my father managed to seal the Kyuubi and defeated you. Not even with the power of the strongest of the tailed beasts did you manage to defeat my father, Naruto said, and he could feel Toby's anger and chakra just coming out of every pore. What happened? Naruto rhetorically asked. Did you want to be Hokage, but my father beat you to it? Was that it? Naruto asked, and Toby was already thinking of swirling away towards Konoha and starting a massacre. Or you couldn't get it up in the bedroom and need a boost of morale, Naruto asked, and Kisame bit back a laugh as he thought it wouldn't be good to him if he laughed at his true leader. I will find who you are, and eventually, when that day comes, you'll end up at the tip of my blade, Naruto said as his Sharingan swirled into his Mangekyo. You don't know who you are messing with, Naruto, Toby stated, saying his name with as much venom as he could. I'm going to enjoy making Hinata my personal slave when I'm done with you. Toby said, chuckling evilly.
Let me at him. I'll slaughter him for insulting your mate.
Kurama yelled from inside Naruto. What do you say about not letting him get under our skin? Relax, Naruto says, his whiskers return to normal from the sudden chakra surge. Who said I'll be waiting for you? Naruto quickly replied with a smile, throwing Toby off for a moment. Anyone else would just wait and train until the moment this group chose to come after them, but you're wrong, Naruto said, looking Toby dead in the eyes. In this story, I'm the hunter, and you are simply my prey, Naruto said with a twisted smile that sent shivers down everyone's spine. And like any good hunter, I enjoy a good chase. I'm going to hunt the Akatsuki down, one by one, and when I'm finished with everyone else, I'll be coming for you, Toby, Naruto said, smirking. You shouldn't underestimate us, Nagato said. The rest of the group was rather quiet and could only watch as their target threatened them with death. You may call it arrogance, but I'm not underestimating any of you, Naruto said before he started pointing and going through each member of the group. Sasori of the Red Sand. Destroy his puppets and he becomes nothing more than a Jonin. Deidara from Iwa. Low-class S-rank Nukenin. Known for using clay explosives as long-range attacks. My economy makes him useless against someone like me. Naruto started as he turned to the remaining members. Kisame the Tailless Bijou. Take away your Samehada and your power decreases exponentially, Naruto said, and Kisame scoffed. Uchiha Itachi. Prodigy of the Uchiha clan. Very skilled in Genjutsu and fire ninjutsu. However, almost blind from overusing Mangekyo, Naruto said, but Itachi remained silent. From Zetsu, I got the feeling that he wasn't really the fighting type, Naruto said, and continued on. Toby, take your Kami away and you're pathetic, Naruto said. Konan, according to Jiraiya, you have some control over paper and origami techniques. Simple paper will melt before my fire techniques, Naruto said, but Konan remained silent. And finally, Nagato, wielder of the Rinnegan. You're a coward just like Toby. While he hides behind his mask, you choose to hide behind your paths. Too scared to come onto the battlefield yourself? Naruto asked, but Nagato remained silent. You see, when I say that, I'm not overconfident or arrogant. I know everything about you while you know nothing about my true power or abilities, Naruto said, and turned to Toby. I know you saw what I did back in Kiri. I could feel your presence the moment I entered the village. I could feel you watching me from the Mizukage Tower. If you think that was all I could do, you are sorely mistaken. That wasn't even half of my true power, Naruto said, but Toby remained silent. I'm stronger than Hashirama and even Madara were back in their primes, Naruto explained. Why don't I give you a preview? Naruto rhetorically asked, smirking while everyone tensed. If you're coming after me, you should know the difference, Naruto says, his chakra flared, and he was surrounded by a small silver layer of chakra. Even inside the small cave, a small breeze flew by. Small rocks started levitating around Naruto as his hair also started to levitate ever so slightly. What's this pressure? Toby wondered as he felt Naruto's chakra start to increase. No, now. The gap between us. Naruto's chakra suddenly spiked and a small shockwave was felt. The ground cracked and shook as Naruto released more chakras to the point that the air was rustling fiercely. His body was covered in a powerful and bright silver aura, so bright that the Akatsuki couldn't see much but for his eyes who seemed to glow a dark red. The ground started shaking and the cave started crumbling. His chakra flared even more, and chunks of the cave started falling down, exposing what was once a beautiful and sunny day. Suddenly the weather started becoming darker as massive clouds started forming in the sky. The Akatsuki members watched with wonder at the amount of chakra being released. Even Kisame, who had the biggest pool of chakra in the Akatsuki, never felt so much chakra being released. Kisame suddenly felt like a small drop of water in a large ocean. Konoha. Hinata was passionate about a genin who sprained his ankle while training with his team. Just keep your weight off this foot for a couple days and you'll be fine, Hinata replied, and the genin thanked her. Hinata was filling out the report when she felt an ominous presence wash over her. This chakra, Hinata muttered to herself. It's Naruto-kun's chakra. But it isn't coming from the academy, Hinata said to herself, and was about to drop her coat when Anbu suddenly appeared. Hinata-san, Hokage-sama has summoned the dragons, the Anbu said, and Hinata instantly shunshed into Hokage's office, ready to deploy. Back with the Akatsuki, Naruto took one step forward and the ground cracked. The sky sparkled with thunders upon thunders that lit up the darkened cave. The whole cave started shaking even more and forced every Akatsuki member to drop from the statue. Arrgh! The statue screamed as it brought its hands to its head. The ghetto monster suddenly got up to his feet and howled into the sky. This is bad. Very bad. Nagato thought to himself, wondering what kind of monster had they awakened. This is not possible. The ghetto monster was reacting to his chakra? Toei thought, worried. If the statue should ever slip from their grasp, their plans would be over before they even began. Naruto flared his chakra even more. Trees and chunks of rock were blasted away from the ground due to the wind. Naruto's eyes glowed a menacing red as he looked towards the sky. The clouds suddenly shifted ever so slightly, revealing a small glimpse of the moon. Arrgh! The statue screamed, and nature itself seemed to be scared. Everything started withering away, and even the moon started gaining a small red hue with black markings. Enough! Nagato, shut him down! Toby yelled for Nagato to sever the connection of the reins. If things continued on, the ghetto monster could sing with Naruto, which would put a wrench in their plans even further. Nagato did just that and closed Kagezu's reign. Naruto's illusion suddenly disappeared, but it didn't go alone. The sudden end caused a chakra backlash. A massive shockwave destroyed everything. The trees were uprooted, huge chunks of rock were blasted back, and even the ghetto monster was sent tumbling through the ground. What am I going to do with him? Toei muttered to himself as he warped away, and every one of the Akatsuki was gone from me, knowing full well that they are nothing more than prey, with a hunter on their trail. Back in Taki, Naruto opened his eyes to see that he was back on the battlefield back in Taki. Naruto sighed to everything he learned. He raised his right hand into the air and watched as Kagezu's reign slowly started disintegrating into dust until there was nothing left.
What do you plan to do now?
Kurama asked. They learned very useful things about the Akatsuki. They knew their plan, their members, their strengths, and even weaknesses. We have to tread carefully. I can't afford to make a wrong move. How long do you think it would take to steal a Biju inside the statue? Naruto asked.
Hard to say. It would depend on Nagato's mastery of the Rinnegan,
Kurama replied.
Though I have a question. How did you know that pain is a path and not simply Yahiko using Nagato's eyes?
Kurama asked, wondering if Naruto made a good call. He had piercings of the chakra metal that can only be created with the Rinnegan, Naruto replied, and Kurama nodded in understanding. He can use the outer path if he's using dead bodies, Naruto said, and Kurama nodded. He might be using bodies for every other path. And it doesn't matter how many paths we destroy unless we find the real one, Naruto mused and thought, considering what to do about the leader of the Akatsuki. Naruto was surprised when he turned around only to be on the receiving end of a slap. Naruto groaned as he fell onto the ground. What were you thinking? Hinata asked, yelling at her boyfriend. Sorry, Naruto could only reply. Kakashi was next to you. Why didn't you bring him with you? Hinata asked, fuming at her careless boyfriend. You took on 2 Akatsuki members alone and without backup. What if you were injured and unable to escape? Hinata said with her eyes watering. I'm sorry if I worried you, Naruto said, getting up and hugging Hinata. It happened so fast that I didn't think about taking Kakashi with me, Naruto quickly replied. Fine, I'll let you off the hook this time. But next time, you'll be sleeping on the couch. Do you hear me, mister? Hinata warned. Yes, dear, Naruto replied with his head down. Whipped, Minato said, making Naruto narrow his eyes at him. What are you doing here? Naruto asked as he looked towards the dragons with the exception of Tobirama, who was still in Curie. After you left, Kakashi-kun went to explain what happened to Tsunade, and she sent us as backup. I teleport everyone to your mark, Minato replied, and everyone nodded. I can feel your chakra all the way to Konoha, Hinata said, but Naruto just shrugged his shoulders. I was just giving a preview of my power to Tobi and the Akatsuki's leader, Naruto replied, and everyone was shocked. You met him? Minato asked, and Naruto nodded. You won't believe this, but it's Nagato. The wielder of the Rinnegan that Jiraiya trained and fought was dead, Naruto replied, and everyone was shocked. A wielder of a Rinnegan was behind the most powerful organization around? This could spell trouble. I'll tell you everything later on. Right now, I need to check up on Fu and Shibiki, Naruto explained, and the dragons got ready to leave, as they weren't needed after all. Who did you fight? Hashirama asked curious. The battlefield was a mess with craters everywhere. Hidan the Immortal and Kakazu of the Five Hearts, Naruto explained as Hashirama had his eyes widened. So Kakazu was still alive and kicking? Hashirama asked, and Naruto nodded. You better make it up to me for worrying me, Hinata huffed, and Naruto chuckled. I will, Naruto replied, pecking her cheek as everyone disappeared in a flash, leaving Naruto alone on the battlefield. Takikage's Tower. So, that's it, huh? Fu asked Shibiki, who held his head down in shame. The moment I become more trouble than I'm worth, they just get rid of me, huh? Fu asked, saddened by the fact that today would be our last day in the village. I'm sorry, Fu-chan. You know that I love you like a daughter, but there is nothing I can do to overrule our council. I don't have the same power as the other Kages do with their villages, Shibuki reasoned, but Fu huffed. Knock, knock. Come in, Shibiki said, and in entered Naruto, who had just returned from his meeting with the Akatsuki. The moment Naruto came inside, he felt the tension flowing around. Am I interrupting something? Naruto slowly asked. Fu looked pissed, and Naruto didn't want to deal with another pissed-off female, especially since she was a Jinchuriki. Not at all, Shibiki replied, motioning Naruto to come in. Let me thank you again for saving Fu and our village, Shibiki said with a small bow. Not at all. I would do anything for my sister, Naruto replied, looking at Fu, who had her eyes widened. Sister? Fu softly asked. Of course. I think of the Jinchurikis as my brothers and sisters. Very few people tolerate our kind, and even fewer actually like us, Naruto explained, rubbing the back of his head. Oof! Naruto groaned as Fu tackled him with a hug. Thank you, Fu whispered, hugging Naruto tightly. For everything, Fu said, letting go and wiping her moist eyes. I will always be there for you, Naruto said with a smile. Fu ni-chan, Naruto jokingly said, making Fu playfully hit him in the arm. Actually, I have another favor I want to ask you, Naruto-sama, Shibiki replied, making Naruto look at him funny. I know that you don't like honorifics, but you deserve it. Even Kages like me show respect to some, Shibiki said, and Naruto shook his head, chuckling. What do you need? Naruto asked, making Fu tense. The council has banished Fu from the village, Shibiki replied, and quickly squirmed in his chair. What? Naruto screamed in outrage, flaring his chakra. The Anbu would have tried to jump in, but they were frozen in place. I can't do anything, Shibiki quickly replied. In the midst of the battle, they assumed I die bowing that immortal fellow, Shibiki replied, and Fu flinched at the mention of his death. Very few people in this village like Fu. In fact, if it wasn't for me, she would have been long gone by now, Shibiki sadly said. In my absence, the council banished Fu from the village, Shibiki said, making Naruto fume. They don't think having a Jinchuriki is worth it, not with them being hunted down, Shibiki said. So, you are just throwing her to the wolves, Naruto angrily asked. You have to understand the council's point of view. They only care for the village's best interests, Shibiki started explaining. We don't have the military force of one of the great nations. A single member of the Akatsuki killed almost 10% of our military force. We don't have the resources to fight the group should they ever send anyone else, Shibiki explained. Even so, she's one of you, Naruto replied. That is why I ask you for this favor, Shibiki said, looking at Fu. She won't stand a chance against this group, especially alone and without the support of a village, Shibiki said, looking Naruto dead in the eyes. I want Konoha to take Fu in and make her a leaf shinobi, Shibiki said, and Fu's eyes widened. You are a crafty old man. I give you that, Naruto replied, chuckling. I try my best. Thank you, Shibiki playfully replied. Hello, Fu said, waving her hands. Can someone fill me in? You keep talking as if I'm not even here, Fu replied. Since you were banished, Taki has given up ownership, quote-unquote, of Chome. As such, you are able to join any village you wish without any repercussion, either be it economical or military, Naruto explained, and Fu was shocked. To put it simply, you can do what you want, Naruto explained. Maybe this won't be so bad. At least I won't have to deal with these ignorant villagers anymore, Fu thought happily for the first time today. This is where I come in, Naruto said, breaking Fu from her thoughts. If you wish, you can join Konoha and become a leaf shinobi, Naruto explained. Are you sure? Fu asked, a little bit worried. Won't they hate me? And what about the Akatsuki? Fu quickly asked, but Naruto waved her off. For starters, they won't hate you. I already took care of that. Besides, no one will know about your burden, Naruto said, and Fu happily nodded. Your concern about the Akatsuki is unnecessary. Konoha already has two Jinchurikis, me and Gaara. They will make their move on us eventually. And finally, you have friends there. You have me, Hana-chan, Gaara, and I believe you remember Shino, Naruto said, tapping his chin, and Fu quickly nodded. So, will you come with me? Naruto asked. Just like that? Don't you have to ask your Hokage? Fu asked, concerned about the politics. One thing at a time. I'll take you to live with me at the Senju compound, Naruto asked, and Fu nodded. Unless, of course, you prefer the Aburame compound, Naruto teased. Idiot, Fu said, smacking his head, and quickly turned away to hide her blush. It's settled, Shibiki said, rising from his chair. I know you'll be happy in Konoha, and I'm sorry for this, Shibiki said, kissing her forehead. Promise to keep in touch, alright? Shibiki asked, and Fu nodded. Goodbye, Fu asked, as Naruto placed a hand on her shoulder, and both of them disappeared in a swirl. Hokage's office. Hey, Ba-chan, Naruto said, as he suddenly appeared in the middle of her office. Tsunade looked up from her paperwork to see Naruto waving and some green-haired girl next to him. Ora! Shit, Naruto thought as his partial Susanoo flared into existence. Fu quickly hid behind Naruto as the Hokage charged her fist. Crack! Naruto's partial Susanoo cracked as Tsunade's fist smashed into it. What are you doing, you crazy woman? Naruto yelled. What were you thinking fighting two Akatsuki members alone? Tsunade said, angry. Naruto groaned as he had already had this talk before. At least Hinata didn't empower slap with chakra. Hinata already said that to me, and I'm sorry about going alone, Naruto said, and Tsunade nodded, saying back down. Oh, welcome to Konoha. Who are you again? Tsunade sweetly asked towards Fu, whose eyes were bulging out. Crazy old woman, Naruto thought to himself before dropping his shield. I'm Fu, Fu slowly said, not wanting to be on the receiving end of that punch. She's the Jinchuriki of the Nanabi, Naruto explained, and Tsunade raised an eyebrow. Taki decided to banish her as they didn't want to be on the Akatsuki's radar. I offered her the choice of coming to live here in Konoha, Naruto said. You can't just offer things like that without consulting me first, Tsunade said, sighing, and Fu became nervous. You aren't Hokage yet, Tsunade said, chuckling. This is a sensitive matter, so I'll take this up with the council, Tsunade explained, and Naruto nodded. I'll drop her off at the Senju compound while you summon the council, Naruto said, and Tsunade nodded, summoning an Anbu. Council room. 1 hour later. What are we waiting for? Hiyashi asked as he was tired of sitting down waiting for something to happen. This is a sensitive matter, for we must wait for the whole council to be gathered. Naruto-chan should be arriving soon, Tsunade said, and speaking of the devil, Naruto swirled into existence. Sorry I'm late, Naruto said as he sat down in the Senju clan chair. Now that we are all here, the meeting may begin, Tsunade said as everyone focused on her. We are here today to decide if we should allow Fu, the Jinchuriki of the Nanabi, to become a Konoha shinobi, Tsunade said, and got many reactions. Some were indifferent, others suspicious, and some shocked. I believe that the Nanabi belongs to Takigaku, Shikaku said, with his eyes wide open. As of today, that is no longer true, Tsunade said, and Shikaku raised an eyebrow. Taki has decided to banish Fu from their village due to the Akatsuki hunting them down, Tsunade explained and motioned Naruto to explain. 2 members of the Akatsuki tried to capture Fu today. Hidan the Immortal and Kaksu of the 5 Hearts. Since Fu had my Hirashin kunai, she called for my help and I was able to kill them both, Naruto said, and Shikaku's jaw dropped. You took on 2 S-rank shinobi in 1, Shikaku asked in disbelief. Naruto simply nodded. Troublesome, Shikaku muttered beneath his breath. The council decided that having Jinchuriki was more trouble than it was worth, and simply discarded her, Tsunade stated. By being banished, Taki has forfeited the ownership of the Nanabi, leaving her free, so to speak, Hamura said, and Naruto gritted his teeth. He never liked when they talked as if they owned the Bijus like pets. Is she trustworthy? Koharu asked, suspicious of said girl. She suffered the same treatment as any other Jinchuriki. She was never liked in her village. I believe this is a place where she can start fresh, Naruto explained, getting a few nods in return. All in favor of Fu joining our ranks, I asked, and the response was unanimous. Then this settles it. Fu is now a proud Jonin of Konoha, Tsunade said, and Naruto smiled. Naruto was about to swirl away when all of the council heard a chuckle. Danzo was chuckling. The heavens must be falling for that bastard to laugh. I've got to say, Danzo started opening his single visible eye. I may not agree with your methods or ideals, but I cannot refute your results, Naruto, Danzo said, looking straight towards Naruto. What's that supposed to mean, Danzo? Naruto asked, narrowing his eyes at the old bandaged man. Exactly that. Since you showed yourself to the world, you brought Konoha to new heights that it has never been since the founding of Konoha, Danzo started, gathering the attention of the whole council. You put the sand in their place when you alone killed 1/5 of their army, including their Kazekage. The result was a completely loyal Ichibi Jinchuriki, Danzo said. You know very well that I only meant to protect Konoha, Naruto coldly said. Be that as it may, I cannot argue with the results, Danzo said, chuckling once again. Then came the miss, where you alone slaughtered almost 2,000 shinobi and defeated Yagura, the Sanbi Jinchuriki. That allowed us a complete alliance with Kiri to the point that even if this alliance were to end, they would never think of striking Konoha. Not with you still around, Danzo explained, and Naruto gritted his teeth. You make it sound as if they are our allies out of fear, Naruto replied. He didn't like where this conversation was going. Fear is the ultimate weapon, Danzo said a bit louder. Something you use very well, to the point you do it almost unconsciously. I felt your chakra all the way from Taki. I know just how strong you really are, Naruto, Danzo said, but Naruto remained silent. And finally, you took on 2 S-rank shinobi and defeated them on your own. You gave a crippling strike to the Akatsuki, but above all, this has gained us something more, as yet again, you got us another loyal and trained Jinchuriki, Danzo said. You make it sound like I'm conquering the world piece by piece, Naruto asked in disbelief. You may not want to believe it, But when the Akatsuki are gone, your word will be absolute, Danzo said, smirking. I don't want to rule the world. All I want is peace, Naruto replied, getting raised eyebrows from everyone. Peace? Danzo said in disbelief. What foolish ideals you have. There can be no peace. Not in this shinobi world unless there is someone to rule them all, Danzo calmly said. Are you trying to persuade me to conquer the world? Naruto asked, shaking his head in disbelief. And why not? Danzo rhetorically asked. You certainly have the power and mind to do it. With the power of the tailed beast behind you, and in your control, the world could be ours, and Danzo was saying but was interrupted. Ours? Naruto asked, and Danzo quieted down instantly. That is what this is all about, isn't it? Naruto rhetorically asked. You don't want peace. You want a throne, Naruto said, and Danzo returned back to his stoic self. To think the teachings of Hashirama and Toyirama were wasted on someone like you, Naruto said with a sneer. You are mistaken. I don't wish for the world, Danzo quickly replied. I only wish for the longevity of Konoha. Nothing more, nothing less, Danzo explained, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. That sure wasn't what Naruto got from that. You follow the same foolish ideals of the third, Danzo started. The Hino Ishi, will of fire, is nothing more than petty words. The only thing that matters in this world is power. That gives someone meaning, purpose, and the means to achieve what they want, Danzo said. Which is a throne in your case, right? Naruto asked, and Danzo remained silent. My ancestor wanted peace, not peace through strength or fear, but through love and understanding, something that you will never understand. This meeting is over, Naruto said and swirled away. Danzo got up and hit his cane on the ground, disappearing in a poof of smoke. Did Naruto-san really do all those things? Choza asked, curious. Shikaku was looking at the ceiling after the whole conversation. Something about both of them was a bit off. Naruto was very focused on achieving this peace, while Danzo wanted Naruto on his side. For some reason. Yes, he did. This meeting is adjourned, Tsunade said, and watched everyone leave. Damn it, Naruto. You are making too many enemies, Tsunade thought to herself, biting her lip. Senju compound later that day. And here we are, Naruto said, opening the wooden door and showing Fu her room. The room itself was simple and pretty much empty. It had a bed, closet, a table, and a nightstand with a few drawers. You are next to Tamari, Naruto said. It's great, Naruto-kun, Fu said, hugging him. Thank you for everything you did for me, Fu said, and Naruto nodded. There is a problem, though, Naruto said with a glint in his eyes. What is it? Fu asked, confused. I don't think this bed is big enough for you and Shino, Naruto said with a straight face. Get out! Fu yelled and pushed Naruto out of her bedroom, slamming the door shut. Naruto chuckled and made his way towards his room. Squeak! And this is where I'm gonna have to skip a little bit, but let's just say it has Shikamaru wearing a leash, and he's coming out of Tamari's room, so make of it what you will. You saw nothing, Shikamaru said, glaring at Naruto. Kinky, Naruto said with an amused smile as he watched Shikamaru shunshin away from his compound. Naruto-kun. Naruto heard Hinata's voice and turned around only for his jaw to drop. Hinata was standing by their bedroom door with only a white medical garb. The garb and just below her waist showing off her long and firm legs. And I might have to skip some of this part because I don't think Yuta's gonna like this next line. You come in? Hinata asked in her best bedroom voice. She bit her finger as she repressed a blush. They had never engaged in, I'm just gonna call it Dungeons and Dragons so I don't get in trouble. Oh, I'm coming, said Naruto. And that is the end of chapter 43, The Real Hunter, and the last chapter of this video. Oh boy, so a little bit of some cringe at the end, but I did like this chapter a lot. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and yeah. Alright, so stay tuned for some other videos that are coming, such as Half Senju, Half Hyuga, and again, the Legacy movie, which will come after this video is released. Watch my community tell like a hawk, that is really important, and yeah. If you have any fanfics you want me to read, be it Naruto or someone else, give me the name of the fanfic in the comments, and I'll take a look at it. And finally, follow me on Twitter at MSH4 for my most active platform, Instagram for memes and the occasional DM, and Discord for access to my community. Again, all of which are in the description. And finally, shout out to our patrons, my favorite patron Anguish, and my favorite patron Gabe Tidwell. If you want to support me and get rewards for shouts like these, go to my Patreon, which is linked in the description. And yeah, we're getting closer to 51k. Let's get to that milestone and eventually hit 60k and eventually 70k, 80k, 90k, and 100k. Got it? Good. Alright, that should be about it for this video. Thank you all for watching, and this has been your boy, the Anime Sage, sign out. Peace. Your host, Sunny Shade, closes us out. Bye-bye. Peace.
Hi, this is Stephanie Shea, voice actress for Sailor Moon, Hinata, Orihime, and you are watching Anime Sage.